Welcome to Statesboro, Georgia, on a spectacular Saturday for Sunbelt football. ESPN presents the South Alabama Jaguars against the Georgia Southern Eagles. Today is a pivotal matchup for both teams. Georgia Southern still sits one game off the league title with Arkansas State in front. Meanwhile, for South Alabama, the Jaguars are one win in their final two games away from a second straight bowl berth. And we're thrilled to be with you, Kevin Brown, alongside 12-year NFL vet Tyoka Jackson. Thanks for joining us from Statesboro. For South Alabama, the stakes are simple. Win and in for the Jaguars, one of the newest programs in FBS who can make a bowl game for the second straight year.
3 touchdown underdogs today, but don't go anywhere because they were big underdogs against San Diego State. They knocked them off. They can do it today with better third down efficiency.
That was a Jaguars' signature win earlier this year, but they have a tough challenge today. Georgia Southern leads the nation in rushing yards, and they do so behind a diverse option game.
Kevin, this is not your granddad's triple option. They do it out of motion, different shifts, pistol, shotgun. They do it all, but they want to punch you in the mouth. They got the best rushing attack in America.
Two new programs, relatively speaking, but some great pro prospects on these teams. And let's start with South Alabama right there. The Jaguars have a number of UAB transfers, and one of them is the tight end, Gerald Everett.
Long and athletic, 6'4", 225 pounds. He's a big-time matchup problem for any defense who plays man coverage. Georgia Southern plays a lot of man coverage. Expect a big day out of Gerald Everett today.
Might be locked up with one of the linebackers for Georgia Southern. That's Antoine Williams, leading this team in a number of defensive categories.
If you're an NFL team looking for a Mike linebacker, look no further. 6'3", 245 pounds, can run, a physical tackler, leads the team in tackles for loss, and forced fumbles. A tremendous player. Let's watch him today as well.
There's a lot at stake on this Thanksgiving weekend. Georgia Southern and South Alabama on a pivotal Saturday afternoon. We'll have the opening kick next on ESPN. They are fired up here at Paulson Stadium. The second year of FBS football for Georgia Southern. They're going to go to a bowl for the first time. Last year the Eagles were 9-3, but were not eligible because it was the transition year from FCS to FBS. But now the home fans are here to see Georgia Southern try and put a big dent in South Alabama's bowl dreams, as the Jaguars will receive the ball first. Georgia Southern won the toss and chose to defer. There's a look at 25,000-seat Paulson State, renovated last year with a transition to the FBS, bringing some upgrades to the football facilities as the Eagles kicking team takes the field.
Kevin, beware of Xavier Johnson here. He's an excellent kickoff return guy. Almost broke one last week, and he'll play an integral part in getting good field position for this Jaguar offense.
Johnson, one of the standouts for Joey Jones, a head coach since day one of this program, a former University of Alabama wide receiver. Younghoe Koo will kick to Johnson, one of the most dangerous kick returners in college football. We are underway from Statesboro. And this is over the head of Johnson and out of the end zone for a touchback. That's one way to avoid Xavier Johnson.
Kick it right on out the end zone, baby. Doesn't get any better than that.
So South Alabama will get the football first. Jaguars averaging just over 25.5 points per game this year. A balanced team in terms of run and pass. And their quarterback is Cody Clements, a 50-year senior who's been at 4 different schools in his career. Last year UAB, and a first-year starter has fit right in.
It's all about efficiency for young Mr. Cody Clements. If he can make really good decisions, be smart with the football, they've got a chance today.
Johnson is the running back with a 4 wide receiver set on the first play from scrimmage. And the give is to Xavier Johnson, working his way through for a decent pickup. A gain of 5 on first down.
Nice job of zone blocking up front. And this offensive line will be key. They're going to need to stay balanced. They have to be able to run and throw at will. If you make this offense one-dimensional, they struggle. But if they can do both with equal efficiency, they're pretty doggone good.
South Alabama scored on its first drive last week at Georgia State, only had 3 points the rest of the game. Clements on the fake here on second down, and the pass is incomplete, dropped by Josh McGee. Another UAB transfer to set up third down and 5.
Yeah, drop pass, but I like the play call. You come back with a read option, play action, got a slant over there in Twins formation, and Johnson or Josh McGee just has to make that catch. It's important.
McGee and Clemens, two of a number of UAB transfers on this roster. The Blazers' temporarily disbanded football program will be back in a couple of years, but South Alabama's taken a number of the players. On a third down, this pass is complete right over the middle to Darren Woodson. A 50-year senior has a first down for the Jaguars.
That's the man coverage that this Jaguar offense is going to see all day. Georgia Southern likes to go man up. They'll bring pressure. And so there's going to be plays to be made, especially with slants down the field. They just have to execute. That ball has to come out on time, which it did that play.
Is that what you're looking for in this first drive? Quick hitters from the Jaguars?
No question. And you got to stay balanced, too. You can't get in third and long, which they weren't.
Here's a quick one for McGee. Has some speed, and he is wrapped up right by the legs. Nice open field tackle. Antonio Glover out of the secondary. Georgia Southern defensively second in the Sun Belt in total defense, 23rd in all of the FBS. They return 8 of 11 starters from last year, and this unit has played mostly injury-free ball this year. Clements again to the air on a second down, and a second drop of the opening drive for McGee. This one with no one in the vicinity.
He's got to wake up. I mean, you're 3-touchdown underdog. You're wide open on a slant again. Ball comes out on time and on target, and he just takes his eyes off the ball. You got to catch that football. Don't run until after you catch it, young players.
3rd and 4 coming up for the Jaguars on the opening drive. Tied for 101st in all of FBS in third down conversion, just over 35%. Clements in the face of pressure. Complete. Kevin Kuchera has a first down into Georgia Southern territory.
Same route, different player. Better result. They go trips left. Nice little route combination from the number 2 receiver. And you got to go with Cody Clemens. He's hot right now. And they talked about this. Georgia Southern defense talked about when Clemens gets hot, look out. He can move the ball, and that's exactly what they're doing right now. Nice fast start. Let's see if they can finish the drive off by changing the scoreboard.
Clemens only 14 out of 34 last week in the Georgia Dome against Georgia State. So far, 3 for 5. The 2 incompletions drops. The running back here is Tyrese Thomas, bulling his way to the 40-yard line. Thomas, a redshirt junior, second-string running back, averaging 5 yards a carry on the year. What are the keys for South Alabama?
Well, they got to stay disciplined. No 3-and-outs, right? You got to be able to run the football. You go 3-and-out against this vaunted rushing attack on the other side, it's a problem. Defensively, it's going to be eye discipline. They're going to see a lot of option. It's all about eyes, reading your keys, and doing your job and nothing more.
Gain of 4 yards on the run for Thomas. He stays in the game on 2nd and 6. This is Chris Lewis. Incomplete. He could not hang on. Pressure came from Tay Hicklin along with Antonio Glover to the defensive backs to blow up that screenplay.
So 2nd and down, incomplete, but all's not lost because they would get 5 yards on the first down. This is a very manageable 3rd down for this Jaguar offense. So far, so good with the balance. It's working. The offensive line is holding up. It's still early. If you are this Georgia Southern defense, you want to get off the field right now and put your offense in position to run the football.
They haven't done that yet. Jaguars are 2 of 2 on 3rd downs on this drive. 3rd and a short 6. Clements rolling the pocket. Flips it back for a screen. Gerald Everett has plenty of space. Everett waiting for his blockers to set up. Down to the 10-yard line and lurching his way to the 5.
Love the play call. Love the play call by Brian Vincent, offensive coordinator. Get the ball in the hands of your best offensive player. They run a nice little throwback screen, and this athlete is running down your secondary with blockers. That's a scary proposition for those defensive backs of Georgia Southern.
A pickup of 35 for the leading receiver, Everett. Another one of those UAB transfers, also a former JUCO player. 1st and goal for South Alabama. Thomas stays in as the running back. The give is to him. Thomas with a quick cut. Gets down to the 2.
Like the play call, Kevin. When we talked about staying disciplined, I'm talking about the coaches. You can't get pass happy. You got to continue to run the football and stay two-dimensional. I like the plan so far. It's working out great. And again, I can't say enough about the early performance of the South Alabama offensive line.
What do you think of South Alabama's tempo?
I love it because you got to slow it down. We talked about that during the week. This is going to have to be a team win for this underdog team. And this offense has to play their part by possessing the football. They're running clock. They're running the football, mixing in the passes. It's just a beautiful job for the opening drive.
Braden Bowman, the second tight end, is top left of your screen. Thomas inside, working his way into the end zone. An opening drive touchdown for South Alabama, and Tyrese Thomas, his second of the year.
Beautiful job. Again, there's a name we didn't call all drive, Kevin, and it's Anton Williams. Look at the movement up front by the offensive line of this Jaguar squad. They run a zone blocking scheme. He takes 1 foot in the ground and cuts right upfield. Great job of getting a score and changing the scoreboard.
So Thomas bowls in, 5 yards on the 2 carries in the goal-to-go situation, and Aleem Sunanan adds the extra point. 7-0 South Alabama. For the second straight week, the Jaguars strike first. That'll have to play some defense here at Statesboro. We're doing or what?
Yeah, no, I think this is good. I mean, I like the questions. You know, when you ask questions, I think that's beautiful. Keeps it engaged.
Sweet. I like it.
Yep.
It's a good drive.
How many minutes?
4:02.
4:02. Okay.
That was good. That kind of stuff is great.
Yes, sir.
Yep. What's that? I'll take anything. So whatever. Four minutes, 2 seconds for South Alabama to mark 75 yards in 11 plays. And the Jaguars are on the board first on a 2-yard Tyrese Thomas touchdown run. So Georgia Southern, under head coach Willie Fritz, will take the field to receive and play offense. Willie Fritz right now is one of the hottest commodities in coaching. His name this week in particular has been linked to the Iowa State job, and Willie told us, look, I hope we have that kind of buzz every year. It means you're winning a bunch of ball games.
When you're winning, it's amazing. The buzzes will come flying, and that's the type of culture that he's helped build here at Georgia Southern, and it's really impressive. And I don't see it stopping anytime soon.
Derek Keaton is deep to receive the kick from Sunanan, and Keaton will take it to the 6-yard line for Georgia Southern. Good speed for this young man as Keaton jukes out of a tackle and is thrown forward to the 35. An excellent start for Georgia Southern's kick return team.
Great blocking there by the wedge team. I mean, he wasn't touched until after he crossed the 25-yard line and a nice little cutback and showed some great vision. That's a really, real good start, like you mentioned.
A return of 31 yards. And here is Kevin Ellison, the starting quarterback for Georgia Southern. He's been a little bit banged up this year, but he practiced in full this week. Has had a foot injury that's nagged at him. You look at the career numbers, over 2,000 rush yards and passing yards for the redshirt junior.
One of only 4 players last season to run for 1,000 and throw for 1,000. A true dual-threat guy for this offense.
Matt Breed is right behind him in this option setup. And Ellison will fake the pitch after faking the handoff and gets swallowed up. Well defended by South Alabama. In particular, that is Devon Earl, the junior free safety.
Yeah, Travis Pearson, the defensive coordinator for South Alabama, talked about his safeties. Roman Buchanan and Earl going to have a big game because they want to funnel that thing to the outside. And when you funnel an option to the outside, it's all about the alley players having to make tackles in space.
Eagles 364.3 rush yards per game, the most in college football. This is Breida's first carry, and he doesn't get much. Lots of Jaguars on the pile to set up a 3rd and long. And when you talk to Travis Pearson, that's where he wants to get Georgia Southern's offense, in situations where you almost have to pass.
Yeah, well, defense 101 is make the offense do what they're not comfortable doing. They're not comfortable being in 3rd and 9. Unlike last week, Georgia State, that's what they play, 3rd and 9, no problem. Here, they don't want to be in shotgun trying to throw the ball on 3rd and 9. They want to run the football for 3 downs, 4 downs to make it happen. So far, good start by this Jaguar defense.
Officially here, 3rd down and a long 7. Jeff Ward, the tight end, in motion. Ellison will run the option. This is their bread and butter. It's Breida, and he is out of bounds shy of the first down by 4 yards. Needed the 45, knocked out at the 41. Kalen Jackson in pursuit.
Excellent job of stringing that thing out, and you saw the only team that was able to slow this rushing attack down so far this season was Georgia, and how they do it, they strung it out, and they used the boundaries as an extra defender. That's exactly what the game plan was going in all week, and so you got to give a lot of credit to a great start. It's a long way to go, but we know the Jaguars have come to play today.
The energy level looks a little bit different than last week against Georgia State, no doubt. Ryan Nowicki's punt. Fair catch called for and made at the 10-yard line by South Alabama's Josh McGee. Second possession for the Jaguars next. Terrific opening drive for South Alabama. The Jaguars were 3 for 3 on 3rd down. Ended up with a 2-yard touchdown run by Tyrese Thomas. What does Georgia Southern have to do different defensively on this drive?
Well, first, they got to wake up. I mean, it's not a whole lot of fire and desire out there in the guys in blue. They got to get ready to take a stand and defend their home field.
The quick hitter for Clemens. This is in and out of the hands of McGee. It is out of bounds. That's close to a backward pass. As McGee has missed 3 separate passes today, whether you want to call that one a drop or not, that is officially an incompletion.
Nice job by the corner out there to fight off the block. They try to go bare pass and a little wide receiver screen, and that showed some intensity. Let's see if this can carry over to the next play.
Clements again to throw. Had plenty of time, finally just flings it away. There's nobody even close in the area. Georgia Southern sideline can't believe there's not a flag, and now there is.
Not sure why it took so long. He's in the pocket, in the tackle box. Sure, he gets it past the line of scrimmage, but not a guy in white in the area. It's an easy call, really.
That's Jeff Hillier, our referee. I think the closest man wearing white was Willie Fritz.
And that's the wrong team. You see, he's still in the tackle box. And give him credit for not trying to take the sack. I get it. But that's when the referees got to step up and do their job, which they eventually did.
3rd and 18, South Alabama at its own 3. Clements will take the shotgun snap out of the end zone.
Got to be careful here if you're the Jaguars.
McGee, the motion man. Clements flips it to Johnson. Has a block. Gets a little extra breathing. There was a helmet and the ball come off. Johnson was ruled down.
Iron-haired Gallen. That's the first time we've called his name, but I guarantee it won't be the last. That guy's all over the football field. A really intense football player. And that's the way now. They've shown up. You're talking about Georgia Southern. They've shown up now. The intensity is picked up. You can see it in that defense. They've decided to wake up. Unfortunately, when you sleep at the early part of a game, you'll go down 7. But it's still plenty of time on the clock. But that's the sort of defense we're used to seeing, flying all over the football and very intense.
Aleem Sudanon, who kicked that extra point earlier, also does most of the punting from his own end zone. Keaton, that's a good punt. Keaton receives it at his own 42. Keaton with a jet across midfield, and Georgia Southern is set up in Jaguars territory with a flag thrown right at the end of the play.
Classic out kick in your coverage situation, and it may have a clip. It was a 50-50 call on a block up in the middle. He actually pointed out for that block to be made, and it sprung him.
So the punt of 52, the return of 18, but you can negate some yardage here on the block in the back.
And it's questionable. I mean, it's a 50-50 judgment call. I have no problem with it. Could have gone either way. And 18-yard punt return is a pretty darn good return. You're looking to get 10 or more yards on punt returns. Obviously, 18 is excellent. They were starting on the plus side of the 50, which was excellent. But it's still, all in all, pretty good field position. Let's see if they can get started now, the offensive side, and start playing Georgia Southern football.
Raekwon Sam committed the penalty. Eagles at their own 44 with Breida, the running back. And the give is to Matt Breida. He finds space. Breida with a cutback. Ellison's out there as a blocker, the quarterback. And Breida shuffles his way, tap dancing across the 20. That is the explosive nature that we've come to know watching Georgia Southern.
Oh, welcome to the game, Georgia Southern. Now you're awake now. Zone read inside. And Breida's just a heck of a football player. He runs as hard as any 190-pound back you're going to find in the league. He's got great vision, and the first guy usually doesn't tackle him, and that's the mark of a really good running back.
Led the nation last year at 8.7 yards per carry. He came in at 8.2 per carry this year, and up goes the average. L.A. Ramsby is in the game now with Breida out. Wesley Fields as well. Ramsby with Fields blocking on the option. Gets down to the 10-yard line.
Breida is the kingpin in that backfield, but they got about 4 backs. And when you're throwing in the quarterbacks, they get about 6 guys who get their rushing yards. They stay fresh, and they all can run. L.A. all day is a heck of a player as well. He'd be a starter on a lot of football teams if it wasn't for Breida.
Ramsby 628 yards and 126 carries, just over 5 yards per, and 10 touchdowns. He's their second leading touchdown scorer on the ground. He has 10. Breida has 14.
When your backup has 10 touchdowns, you know you can run the ball.
Option left this time. Ellison will keep and get taken under by Demarius Rancifer, the senior outside linebacker.
You know, the Jaguars coaching staff talked about not giving up seams to the inside. If they allowed this Georgia Southern rushing attack to get the inside seams off tackle and inside the tackle, it'd be a long day. Remember, they're trying to string things out, create some indecision with their quarterback, and it gives that defense a chance to rally. That's exactly what happened there.
Need the 7-yard line here on a 3rd down and 2. Ellison inside Ramsby, diving forward, first down across the 5.
What a luxury. You know, Breida's one of the best backs in America. He's on the sidelines now, or you bring in L.A. and let him do his thing and keeps Breida fresh. They've got a machine here, and it's really hard to stop. It takes a lot of effort to get them off the field, and they just know what they're doing. They've been running it for years.
First and goal for Georgia Southern. Ball at the 4-yard line. Back to Ramsby, pushing the pile, and stood up shy of the goal line. Ramsby last year had 12 touchdowns. He scored in his final 10 games. He's picked up 10 touchdowns this year. And the scary thing about this offense, Ramsby is a sophomore, Breida's a junior, Wesley Fields a freshman. The quarterbacks will be back. Most of the offensive line. There aren't too many seniors that play key roles. Back to Ramsby on 2nd down. Searching for the middle, and he is stuffed short. Akeem Lewis, the jack linebacker, which is a hybrid linebacker defensive end position, got in for the stop.
A lot of interchangeable parts on this Jaguar defense, and that's what the defensive coordinator really likes in Travis Pearson. He likes to move guys around and use them in different ways. Big down here for both teams. 3rd down is always a money down.
A power backfield for Ellison. He'll take it himself. Right to the edge and in. Touchdown, Georgia Southern.
That's what makes the read option so tough. The quarterback is usually the last guy you have to account for. Is usually not a guy left in the box to do that. And what makes them special, they can do it out of so many different formations and motions. It's really an impressive thing to watch in person because they all can run, Kevin.
And for Ellison, it's his 7th rushing touchdown of the year. So Breida started the drive. Ramsby got a few carries before the touchdown, and Ellison ended it, although this play will be reviewed.
I had some questions if he got in. It's going to be interesting to see if he indeed broke the plane. And, the line judge is right on it, though. He doesn't have no one else on the field has a better view than he. Ooh. I don't know.
A little hard to tell from that angle when Ellison's knee was down, and if he, in fact, got the ball across with possession.
It's going to be close. Really nice job by Demarion Harper to come over. He's an unblocked player. He finishes that right over the top and may have the finish a touchdown. Kalen Jackson as well.
Well, remember, you need to have conclusive evidence that the call on the field was incorrect. If it's a gray area, then you may hear the officials say the call stands rather than the call is confirmed.
That's a great point. The call on the field is always the first thing you look for in a replay situation.
Tony Backert is our replay official, and we'll hear from Jeff Hillier. Call stands, touchdown. So there you go. The call stands, which means it wasn't 100% conclusive, but it wasn't enough to overturn the touchdown ruling.
Now it's a ball game, huh? I mean, it took a series for this Georgia Southern program really to wake up. They came out of the locker room not quite ready to play, and when you do that, you'll go down 7, but now it looks like we got a ball game.
And they're coming off an emotional overtime loss last week to Georgia, 23-17. If it took them a couple of extra minutes, maybe you can understand, but they're here now as Koo ties the game on the extra point. Kevin Ellison and this option offense tie the game here in Statesboro. In the history of the South Alabama program, there's only been one man at the helm of the football team, Joey Jones. Of course, that history is since 2007 when the school announced its intent to start a football program. They started playing a couple of years after that and made a bowl game last year for the first time. This is their 4th year in the FBS under Joey Jones. Jaguars are here, and then they play Appalachian State in the finale. So 2 teams that are currently tied for 2nd in the Sun Belt, and for South Alabama to go bowling, they will have to spring an upset either this week or next. Jaguars will start at the 25 after the touchback from Younghoe Koo.
Essentially, these are playoff games for the Jaguars. I mean, these must wins. And, when you're trying to get to a bowl game, you don't look past this week. Certainly, this will be a monumental upset for them and their program, but go get it. Don't think about, we got another week next week. There is no tomorrow in football. Take care of today, and let tomorrow take care of itself.
Georgia Southern has already clinched a bowl game this year. The question is, where will it go? Saw some representatives from the GoDaddy Bowl, one of the affiliated Sun Belt Bowls, in the stadium earlier. On first down, Thomas worms his way out of a tackle, and Tyrese Thomas puts up some solid numbers on a first down gain after getting hit right near the line of scrimmage.
Real clever shift there. They shifted out Gerald Everett, and he takes a player out of the box, and now it's a 6-man box where you can run the ball more effectively. Look out for some sort of slant, because when Everett shifts out, he's got man coverage out there by himself, and like we talked about in the open, he's one of the better athletes playing tight end in college football.
Right now, Everett is at the top of the formation. Again, it's a run to Thomas, juking his way for a first down to the 36-yard line. Gain of 3 on 2nd out and 2.
Thomas met Mr. Antoine Williams. We talked about him earlier, and we'll be talking about him more throughout the day. Just a really physical football player and a big-time athlete. He's the leader on defense, and he's fun to watch. And he's one of the guys that jumped out on me when I watched tape of these guys.
Willie Fritz said he's had scouts calling him about Antoine Williams. Forced a fumble last game against Georgia, a fumble that was recovered by Caleb Williams and run back for a Georgia Southern defensive touchdown. First down for Clements, under pressure. He steps away from it, lunges forward for a pickup of a few as Clements was under heavy duress. He can move a little bit, though.
He can. He's a deceptive athlete, smart, but he can move his feet. He makes plays with his legs, and that's kind of what sets him apart. Got quick pressure from Jamal Johnson, and really good decision not to throw up something silly. You tuck that thing and get positive yards.
Gain of 3 for Clements. Couple of rushing touchdowns on the year for Cody Clements. One of 12 players with a carry for South Alabama. Again, the pocket goes down. Clements stays on his feet and again gets positive yards out of a tough situation. This will set up a 3rd down and 5.
What you're starting to see now is Georgia Southern is locking down on the outside. And Clements just doesn't have anywhere to go with the ball. And he's forced to now run it. And he's getting positive yards. Again, he's avoiding the catastrophe, but right now it's starting to be a problem. They're not getting separation with these routes. And whenever a quarterback can't find an open guy, it's a scary proposition.
And that offensive line is not whole today. Cameron Blankenship, who was a starter at UAB last year, and their starting right guard is out with a concussion. So the redshirt freshman Noah Fisher's in there. 3rd down, another slant, and a flag is thrown from way back in the secondary as Kevin Kuchera found some contact.
Wow.
That was a side judge about 20 yards in front of the play. Pretty good right arm on the side judge.
How about that?
Today, that is Chip Shields.
And if this is indeed against Georgia Southern, what a huge.
And it sure is for a 1st down.
Huge play, yeah. We talked about you have to play good team defense to beat this Georgia Southern team. This offense has to stay on the field. They had 3 plays in the 3rd quarter last week. That won't get it done against a team that churns out rushing yards and kills the clock. They have got to stay on the field and convert offensively. And whether that's a penalty, a run or a throw, they'll take it how they get it.
Everett split out on a 1st down. Terrence Timmons, the 5th-year senior, is the running back. He gets the ball. And Timmons' first carry is good for a gain of 3. 50th carry of the year for Timmons, who's run for just under 5 yards per carry.
This read option is going to be a big part of today's ball game, clearly. And it's going to be the decision of Clements what to do with the ball. And really, if he plays well, the entire offense plays well. He's the decision maker. He's the trigger guy. Still think you got to look for Everett with that man coverage when he splits out.
Clements to throw. Tucks it down. He'll look to run again. Clements right up the middle of the field and upended. He has enough, though, for a 1st down.
Story's the same, Kevin. They can't get separation down the field. The difference is they went max protect, meaning they keep their tight end in. Look at Everett, number 12. He stays in the block. You got an extra blocker now. Now there's more time. Cody Clements makes another really good decision not to just throw the ball up downfield. He takes what he can find in the defense and gets positive yards. 1st down, keep the chains moving.
From the 42-yard line of Georgia Southern, just over a minute remaining in the 1st. Xavier Johnson back in at running back. He'll take. Johnson is knocked down across the. Jamal Johnson, redshirt junior from Statesboro, and Ironhead Gallon are in for the tackle. By the way, his real name, Mr. Gallon here, is DeShanti. He got the nickname playing Little League football because he was such a hard hitter. What better name is there for a hard hitter than Ironhead?
This is football, right? I mean, it's a part of the game. It's the name of the game. I played with a great Ironhead down in Atlanta my rookie year. Craig Ironhead Haywood, great star out of Pittsburgh, great running back, fullback, and just a thumper in the backfield. So if that's the namesake you're going to take, that's pretty darn good.
Right sport for it. 2nd down, Clements gets away again. Still looking to throw, and down he goes. Matt Dobson, the free safety, steps up for his 1st sack of the year.
Great rush by Jay Ellison, big number 99 inside. He got immediate pressure in Cody Clements' face and flushed him out. Watch the big fella. Nice quick move, gap move to the left, and they got him listed at 306 pounds. I guarantee he's a pizza slice away from 315. I don't know where 306 comes from, but the kid can move. I mean, he got pressure right now, and really the pass rush plus has been a story of the game ever since the first series.
Might be a small cheese slice too.
Yeah, no pepperoni on it. He doesn't need any pepperoni. No, just cheese for him.
So 7-7 at the end of one. South Alabama and Georgia Southern have swapped scores. We're back with the second quarter next on ESPN. Back to Statesboro for the start of the second quarter. Kevin Brown with Ironhead Tyoka Jackson and the whole crew. Jaguars and Eagles tied at 7, and a third down and 13 coming up for South Alabama. So far, we've seen the Jaguars play quick strike, quick hit on offense. What would you expect to see on this third and long?
Well, I think you got to look for your best player on offense, and that's Gerald Everett. We talked about how he split out and got man coverage. I'd be shocked if he gets man coverage on this play, but Georgia Southern has been successful with the blitz. So if they blitz, you have to burn them deep with your best player downfield.
Everett stays in as a blocker. Clemens hit as he throws, and he airmails it with Kevin Kuchera in the area. Too much of a rush there for Georgia Southern, which started to pick up steam on the defensive line as that drive went on.
Yeah, they have a tendency to go 3-4, 4-3. You don't know which one you're going to get each play, and when you're 3-4, you don't know where the rushes are coming from, and they can really fool an offensive line. They did that play.
Quick punt is up from Brandon McKee, their directional kicker. Derek Keaton will let it bounce. In fact, he faked out the South Alabama defense, let it go to the other side of the field. And the punt is down at the 10. So a net of 35 yards and no return.
In that first quarter, you talked about USA moving the ball with quick hitters. They held the ball, though, for 10 minutes and 2 seconds. That's flipping the script, because usually Georgia Southern is the team that eats up the clock and kills the game that way. And so that first quarter, even though they're no longer winning, it's a tie ball game, it couldn't have gone much better for this Jaguar offense.
On average, Georgia Southern leads the time of possession battle by 7 minutes, 56 seconds per game. Eagles will go with their backup quarterback here, Fabian Upshaw. They always play two quarterbacks, and Upshaw will pitch it to Breida on his first play. Get out of the way and let Breida handle the heavy lifting. Shaking off hit after hit, and a gain of 11 for Breida for a first down.
We talked about the game plan being to funnel that ball to the outside to their safeties, and that's a great plan. But the plan is one thing. It's another thing to tackle this guy. He is a load. Again, he's only listed at 190, plays so much bigger runs behind his pads, and he runs angry.
He's got Upshaw at quarterback. Fabian with the fastest recorded 40-yard dash on the team, 4.29. Upshaw to throw it for the first time. His pass complete to Miles Campbell. And that's the extra element for Georgia Southern. Willie Fritz thinks they've been close this year. Their passing game has not been good. But if you can hit a few of these, you keep a defense honest, right?
Yeah, and love the call, because when you bring in number 13, Upshaw, he's got world-class speed, like you mentioned. It's heavy alert for run. Go ahead and break that tendency and throw a nice little quick out to your receiver. Break that tendency and give another thought to the defense.
Only 15 for 37 through the air, but he hits that one to Campbell out of Duluth, Georgia. And again, Upshaw looking to throw. He'll tuck and run, though, and get tripped up across the 30 by Kalen Jackson. He's right near the first down marker.
Great job there by Jackson, and also Blake Dees in pursuit. When you get an athlete like that running, it's a scary proposition, and it could be a house call in a moment. Great job of not over and running it, inside-out pursuit, and stop that play for a minimal gain.
Was it up for a first down for Upshaw? The 31-yard line. 6'1", 170, the redshirt junior Upshaw out of Titusville, Florida. This time he'll just give it right up the middle to Ramsby, who bounces outside. Might have lost his footing and is still on his feet now. L.A. Ramsby. First down, Georgia Southern.
That's a backup running back there. What a luxury. Again, we talked about it before. They went two tights, one back, two receivers. That's a throwing formation, but they come back with a run, and that's just all effort by Ramsey. He just doesn't want to go down. They are so well coached with their running backs. You just can't tell. If you just take the jersey off of them, the jersey number, you don't know which one's which.
Ramsby out of the game. Breida returns. The tight end Jeff Ward is an extra blocker in the backfield. Quick hitter here to the sideline is hauled in by P.J. Johnson right against the South Alabama bench. Johnson has been their leading receiver this year. It's just his 11th catch, but he hauls in a nice one.
Really good timing route there. I mean, that ball came out quick. And when you throw those out routes, it's a scary proposition because the ball's in the air for a long time. But when you do it on time, it's a tough play to defend.
Johnson missed 4 games with a broken clavicle, but only 4. He recovered quicker than anybody expected. Sets up a second and short. Give here up the middle is to midfield. And not much for Wesley Fields, the freshman, on his first carry. Set up a third down and short.
This time they went regular personnel. 1 tight end, 2 backs, 2 receivers. They're going to run this option out of all different looks. But the best thing is they're staying on the schedule. 3rd and 2, or 3rd and 3, very manageable for this offense. They're built to convert plays like this.
4 receivers here. Breida the lone man in the backfield. Upshaw gives. Breida juking his way across the first down marker into South Alabama territory, and a first down for the Eagles.
Excellent job of the offensive line. Zone blocking again. The key to zone blocking is to get on your man, know who you're blocking, and just stay on them. And there's no one coming off. There's a lot of Velcro on the white jerseys. And if you just stay on your blocks, the Powell's going to move with just natural forward momentum. And Breida, again, picks and finds it where he sees it, and what a hell of a player he is.
First team All-Sun Belt last year. Breida second in the league in rushing this year. Fields is knocked down. Jackson in the pursuit, and Demarion Harper wrapped him up.
If you're South Alabama, you need a negative play. All right, you see the tide is starting to turn, and it's an avalanche when you let this team get into a rhythm. They need a negative play to get them off schedule and create a 3rd and long situation so they can get off this field, because it can get really, really long with these drives, 12, 15, 18 plays.
Ramsby, the running back here. He'll take it. L.A. Ramsby over the 40-yard line to the 39. Not much option on this drive compared to the last ones. A couple of passes for Upshaw, some straight handoffs. And a 3rd down coming up, and a long 5 to go for the Eagles.
Starting to find some seams up inside. That's exactly what the Jaguars defense didn't want. Although it was a really nice job by Akeem Lewis coming down the line and making that play.
Right now, Ramsby and Fields are in the backfield. James Dean, the wonderfully named tight end as well. Here's the option on 3rd down. Upshaw darts inside, dives near the first down, which is the 34. Depends on the spot, but he looks to be maybe a couple of hairs short from up here. And he is. 4th down coming up.
Really good effort. Watch him come down the line. He's going to deal the cards. Is he going to pitch it or keep it? Great job of stringing it out, but he decides to cut up inside and make a really nice hard run. Not a very big guy, 170 pounds. But they are so well coached on how to get their pads down and fall forward for extra yards, and this is exactly what happens there.
Georgia Southern, one of the best 4th down teams in the country, will go for it on 4th and inches. Upshaw gives to Ramsby. Down he goes, and the ball is free. It's picked up by South Alabama. Touchdown, South Alabama's defense. It is Devon Earl with a scoop and score.
Woo! Heck of a play. It appeared to be, I think, Akeem Lewis who came through and got the great penetration and forced the fumble. And it is number 52, Lewis. What a great play. And there's a scoop and score. Young players, when you are in the open field, don't jump on the ball. Be greedy. Pick it up and run with it. It's your ball just as much the offensive ball. And what a great job. And gave you a little dab at the end. You know about that dab, don't you,
Kevin?
Cam
Newton.
Yeah,
right there,
why not, man? It's always fun when you get in the end zone. Devon Earl, heck of a play, though. Don't be satisfied. Pick it up and run.
Extra point for Sudanon is good. Last week, Georgia Southern took a 14-7 lead on a scoop and score fumble return for a touchdown. This week, they trail by that score thanks to Akeem Lewis and Devon Earl. The Jaguars are in front in Georgia. Well, not only did Georgia Southern last week have a fumble return touchdown to go up 14-7. It was a 62-yard score. So this week, down 14-7 on a Devon Earl fumble recovery for a touchdown. It's a 62-yard score as well. And Earl's second fumble recovery of the year leads to his first defensive touchdown. Out of Hoover High, Joey Jones said, I don't think he's ever not won a championship. Of the powerhouse high schools here in Alabama. Derek Keaton from his own goal line spins away from an initial tackle and is dropped up high. Special teams coverage for Demarius Rancifer for South Alabama. And the Eagles are back on offense. Promising drive that ended on a 4th and short. Akeem Lewis the strip and Devon Earl the score.
You just don't see that happen very often to this team. And like you said, they're one of the best at converting 4th downs in all of America. And to have quick penetration there and to lose the football and have it turn over that way is one thing, but to scoop and score, I mean, that's devastating. So, but don't panic. Get back to what you are. Let's go back to running the football and mixing in a pass every now and then. And 7 points is not out of reach.
South Alabama, not much of a turnover creating defensive unit. It's the big one here. As Breida picks up a chunk of yards on first down with Kevin Ellison back in the game at quarterback. Ellison and Upshaw, that's the rotation. With a stoppage now for an injured South Alabama player.
That's one thing this Jaguar defense can't really afford is the injuries. They already give up a huge size advantage to Georgia Southern, and you just can't have backup players having to take the majority of the snaps because a frontline guy goes down. That really puts you behind the 8 ball, and that's why this running attack is so effective. It's a game of attrition, Kevin, and when you start smacking the other guy in the mouth play after play after play, things like this, little nicks and nags, can really affect you.
You talk about the lack of size. Well, there's your starting defensive tackle, Caleb Butler. He's 260 as it stands as the starting D tackle. So the Jaguars will go to the bench for Dondre Shenette. 295, so more size for the JUCO transfer who will enter for Butler.
More size, but then more plays, too, that come with that. And,
Yep.
That's where it really hurts because it hurts your rotation. He ends up getting more plays than he's used to, and the question is, will the quality of his play go down in the 3rd and 4th quarters from what it is going to be right now?
Marion Harper, Sean Grayer are the ends right now in this 3-4 setup for South Alabama. Breida back to it on 2nd down with gaping holes in the offensive line. Flag is down behind the play. As Breida steps out across the 40, this flag is way back at the 33.
I'm just going to keep giving the ball to 36 if I'm Georgia Southern. I mean, he looks like he's playing in a little bit different gear than everyone else on the field right now. He's got fresh legs. They're doing a good job of spelling him when they need to.
Holding, 58 offense. Penalties 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat, 2nd down.
Jeremiah Culbreth, the left tackle, a true freshman starter, penalized for the hold. Let's see if we can find it.
Yeah, there's the jersey pull right there. You got to keep those hands inside the framework of the body. That's inside near the chest. When that hand gets outside of the framework, that's high alert. The officials are looking for that hand. As soon as you see a jersey pull, that flag's coming out.
You played up on the defensive line. Would you try to sell that if you were talking about the
Absolutely. You
jersey?
throw your hands up and get attention right away. Of course, I felt I was getting held every play.
And you probably were. On 2nd down, an option pitch. Out of the backfield. This is a nice move here for one of the backups, Monte Crockett, as Georgia Southern goes deep into the bench for the redshirt junior Crockett and a 1st down.
Really jet sweep motion and decide to run the option with that jet sweep guy, and you got running into the wide side of the field, you got plenty of room, and when you get that speed running like that, you have a tendency the defense will overrun it, which happens there at the boundary. He gets a cutback and gets 5 more yards. Great play by Mr. Crockett.
Crockett's 2nd carry of the year, the first one went for a loss of 3. This one went for a gain of 20. Now a deep shot here for Ellison in single coverage and incomplete.
Wonder what the route was. The receiver, Monte, ended up inside. That ball's thrown outside. A little bit of a miscommunication. Looked like it should have been a 9 route, a streak down the field towards the outside. Monte broke it to the inside, and that kind of created the errant throw.
It was E.J. May in coverage as Crockett again was the intended target after his 20-yard run. Second down with Fields, the running back. Ellison with a keeper. Lots of room to run. Got a clean block on the outside. Kevin Ellison toward the goal line. Touchdown. 57 yards.
This offense is special. They fake the sweep one way, come back to the right, and I want you to watch the block of Ryan Longoria, number 31. Excellent job of blocking downfield. If you are a wide receiver for Georgia Southern, you know one thing, you can block, and you better do that. And that's exactly what happened. You can't get long runs without great blocking downfield. Not untouched. Look at the blocking, Kevin. It's unbelievable. I mean, they're so well coached and so well schooled. And when you got a quarterback with really good finishing speed and athleticism, you get dives into the end zone.
This touchdown from Ellison is also under review, as you saw him right near the sideline and the pylon. There's your block from Longoria. See if he stepped out. It's congested. Looks like he stayed in bounds until the end here.
And remember, the call on the field is a touchdown, so we need conclusive evidence. Now, those last 2 steps should have been the ones they should be looking at, because towards the end, he's in.
That looks like it's going to stand. A note on Longoria, the wide receiver who made that block. 2 years ago, he was a sophomore at Fullerton College in California. He caught 51 passes for 7 touchdowns. Last year at Georgia Southern, he had 1 catch. This year, he has 10. It's a sacrifice that you have to make when you're a wide receiver here. You have to be a good blocker, and Longoria has willingly accepted that role.
And the role is what you said. That's the key. That's why football is such a great life teacher. Everyone can't drive the bus. Everybody can't catch all the passes. But if they say to you, Mr. Longoria's son, we've got a role for you on this football team. We're building something great. We're going to need you to block. And those 2 steps are the most questionable ones right there. But I don't know that's enough to overturn it. Great effort, though, at the end. Great effort by the defense to finish that run off. I mean, you see a lot of guys giving up on long runs like that. There's no give up on either team on the field. I just love Ellison's effort at the end to reach that ball out a la Cam Newton.
The look is to see if he stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, he had 2 steps there right around the 7-yard line that were the most questionable to me.
And they're looking at our cameras. You don't have one that's right down next to him on the sideline, so it's a little tough to tell if there's space between the foot and the sideline. Ellison, who missed the first 2 games of the year with an academic suspension, has come back strong. It appears to be over that foot injury that had been bothering him for week after week. Right now, the Georgia Southern offense is just standing around with its hands up, waiting for a decision to be made. And one of the officials is going over to find Willie Fritz. Still waiting for the confirmation or not of what was ruled on the field, a 57-yard rushing touchdown scored by Ellison. If it stands, it'll be Georgia Southern's 42nd rushing touchdown in 11 games this year. The Eagles are second only to Navy, which runs quite a bit of option itself in terms of rushing touchdowns this year in the FBS.
And they've got their own record-setting quarterback up there in Navy, and they're a machine as well. But again, it's a much different offense, and you're seeing a lot of what makes this offense so unique. Pistol, shotgun, motions, shifts. They'll go on unbalanced. They'll pull on a lot of these option plays, and that's just something you don't see. And that's why a lot of people think Willie Fritz is a heck of a candidate for other schools because you can turn this sort of spread option look into a spread passing look pretty easily by just tweaking a couple things. And can you imagine tweaking this and making it a little bit more heavy and pass reliant, but keeping some of the option principles with a dual threat quarterback at some of the larger schools with a higher recruiting budget? I mean, you can see without a whole lot of creativity that he could take this system to some other places and contend for a big-time national championship and playoff implications.
Well, there was a coach who ran the option about 20 years ago here named Paul Johnson. He won a couple of national championships in FCS, and folks around here know him as now the head coach at Georgia Tech, so he's taken that Georgia Southern success and in part run with it. There is still a place in the game for the option.
1-foot-yard line, 1st and goal.
Well, there's the ruling. Ellison was ruled out of bounds. And the ruling is he's out of bounds at the 1-foot line. So the ball is placed inside the 1.
So it maybe appears that his hand without the ball maybe touched out of bounds as he was trying to reach it, Kevin, which is something because it was a heck of an effort, but great job by the officials to catch that, though.
Yeah, the left hand that was out of bounds, as the folks who just got to look at the replay on the screen and didn't like it, was ruled to be out before he reached across.
So you're saying the hometown crowd didn't like the call? What a shock, huh?
Shockingly, I know. Odds makers take a beating. 1st and goal. Breida barreling forward. Touchdown, no doubt. Breida cleans it up. And the Eagles are an extra point away from tying this game again.
Didn't have a lead fullback, but had a motion tight end, sort of a H-back guy that ends up being your lead blocker, and just more clever creativity how they create space and angles for their backs to run through.
Extra point from Koo is true. Matt Breida last year, 21 carries, 187 yards, and 2 touchdowns against South Alabama. He's got 71 yards and a score already, and we're tied at Statesboro. Kevin Ellison does not get all the glory. His 57-yard touchdown run turned into a 56-yard no touchdown run on review, but it was still the big play. And Matt Breida punched in a 1-yard score. On the next play, Georgia Southern and South Alabama are tied again.
Breida finding the end zone again, huh? I mean, that's what he's been doing all year. He's got 15 touchdowns now, and he's in high company with some of the best in the country with Leonard Fournette, Ezekiel Elliott, and Dalvin Cook, and Derrick Henry, and others.
We're talking about big-time schools there. And Breida deserves to be up with that foursome. Maxwell Award, Doak Walker Award nominee. As another touchback is issued by the right leg of Younghoe Koo. So one of South Alabama's biggest weapons this year, the kick return game, has been completely negated.
So if you're the Jaguars, again, you're in good shape. 0-0 ball game for all intents and purposes, and you can run your stuff. They've done a good job of possessing the football, which is one of their keys coming in. They wanted to give their defense some rest, and they'll need to do it here. This is a really big drive now to not go 3 and out. High alert. They go 3 and out here. This is when the ball game could start to turn.
Easton Marshall, an extra tight end, is in. He'll block for Johnson on a terrific run on 1st down. Xavier Johnson with a gain of 8 yards. Redshirt sophomore out of Tampa. He has, in their words, matured on the field, matured off the field this year. He's hit the weight room hard, and it's really been a breakout season for Johnson out of Tampa. Sat his first year, played a little bit last year, 438 rushing yards this year, 7 yards a carry, 7 touchdowns. And with a couple of good performances at the end of the year, he'll add a 1,000-yard season to his resume. McGee, the motion man. Johnson takes the handoff and gets nowhere. Cut under by big number 90, Darius Sapp, 330 pounds on the line.
Yes, sir. Big Sapp is He's a heck of a football player, too. He's a walking double-team mandating guy. You cannot single block him with one guy and expect to get any kind of movement. And he'll make a play every now and then as well.
Older brother Don Tavis, a linebacker in Tennessee last year, who signed with the Cowboys for a bit. 3rd and 2 after the snap stop. Back to Johnson, and he's driven backwards. Absolutely bottled up by Chris De La Rosa.
Great job by De La Rosa. Watch him run through the gap. This is called a run-through by the linebacker. He doesn't sit back and wait. Look at him run through. See the feet moving? That's a run-through with a run-through tackle. All young players, when you tackle, do not stop your feet on contact. Look at him drive his feet. When a really good tackler makes contact, that's the end. There is no yards after contact. That ball stops right there or go backwards.
Senior outside linebacker, the stop. Sudanon's kick fielded by Keaton to the 33 with room up the middle. A flag is thrown, though, behind the play, and it looks like another terrific return by Keaton is going to be negated. Georgia Southern has already committed a block in the back on a punt return. Jeff Hilliard will tell us about this one.
Holding, number 6 during the return. Penalties 10 yards from the spot of the foul, first down.
Darius White, senior cornerback, with the hold. Georgia Southern ball after the big stop by De La Rosa when we return. Kevin Ellison back at quarterback for Georgia Southern. 4.5 to play. In the first half, Kevin Brown, Tioka Jackson. Good one so far between the Eagles and Jaguars.
Really is. I mean, 14-14 ball game late in the first half. I mean, this is what you really want here with two teams with a lot on the line.
A win in South Alabama is headed to a bowl game. A win for Georgia Southern, and the Eagles will stay in the hunt for the Sun Belt Championship. They're currently one game behind Arkansas State. First down, it's Breida into a big pile, and nothing doing for Matt Breida.
Chris, remember said on last possession for South Alabama, it was really important for them not to go 3 and out. Well, they went 3 and out. Catch a big break, though. Go TV timeout in the chains of possession. That gives this defense more time to rest. And so they have an opportunity now to take a stand and get their offense back on the field. And if you're Georgia Southern, just do your thing.
Does that mean give it to 36?
That would be a big part of it for me.
He's got 9 carries, 71 yards so far, but Ellison will throw and hit his man on the sideline and reeled in by Ryan Longoria, who is rewarded for his terrific block of the Ellison run with a target.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Great route, too. Nice bench route, high throw. Longoria goes up and gets it. You have to throw him a bone. I mean, the guy blocks all day. He said he made a lot of catches at his previous university. Guy can catch the football. Give him a bone every now and then. I like the play call. And they're doing it in plays where they don't have to throw the football. That's when they're best, when they can run it or throw it, and they throw a ball in there anyway.
17 yards ties his longest catch of the year. Breida, with a stutter step in the backfield, paced his way for 2 yards.
2-yard run, right? Not a great thing. Did you see the quick feet, though? He has tremendous foot quickness. He can stop and start, chop those feet, and make a lateral jump cut in an instant, and that's what the really good football players can do at that position.
Looks like he's just showing off sometimes, tapping them back and forth.
And why not? Work hard during the week. This is when you can have fun.
Here's a direct snap to Wesley Fields with Ellison at the top of the screen, and Fields bursts away from tackles. Still goes. Wesley Fields was one away from breaking it to the house. As it stands, it is a little pinball wizardry off defenders.
And if I'm not mistaken, that's your third-team running back right there. Playing a little wildcat, taking a direct snap. And, again, I can't tell the difference. Look at him. Watch him run through contact. That's a big, big hoss now he just ran through. He's not going to stop. Really good physical run, and you got to give a lot of credit to Dale McGee, the running backs coach. He's got them all well coached up.
Fields, who was a high school quarterback, gets the ball here. Tries to turn to the outside and ends up picking up a short gain with Demarion Harper draped all over.
Great job by Harper to run him down and not overrun the play and make an unassisted tackle using the sidelines.
Of Fields, Willie Fritz told us he may be the smartest freshman he's ever coached in his career. You tell him something once, he executes it. He'll come off the field here, But in this scheme for running backs, it's not just about running fast. There's so much in terms of zone blocking and following your blocks in this option game.
Yeah, a very mature kid for his age, and when you watch him run physically, he doesn't look like a freshman either.
Breed back in there on a second down. Option with Ellison. He'll look to throw. Has his target to the end zone. It is caught. Derek Keaton for a Georgia Southern touchdown.
What a great job by Keaton. He got held early in that route. He fought off the hold and just kept working, didn't give up on the play, and goes up and gets the ball for a big, big play for this Georgia Southern offense. And they did it unconventionally this time. Didn't turn out a lot of clock, but they did it with a big play, big chunk plays, and you can do that when you're running the football really well.
Picked on E.J. May, who might be their best cover corner. It's a 23-yard strike for Georgia Southern's first lead of the afternoon, and Koo adds to it. Third passing touchdown of the year for Ellison. It's Keaton's first receiving touchdown. Keaton, who started his career at Arkansas State, the team that Georgia Southern is chasing right now in the Sun Belt. As he hauls in the 23-yard grab to match his jersey number.
So hard to defend an offense like that. I mean, running is one thing, but if you're now going to play action pass at will, what do you do? Do you play 8-man front and take away the run, and you leave your guys in man coverage because you can't stop the run otherwise? And it's a tough choice for the defense. Back to Fields. Look at this. Look at the effort. Man, that's tremendous. That's a freshman now. That's the first big play, and Longoria getting his bone on the sidelines with the bench route. This is off play action pass, and Keaton got held and just kept working. Sometimes you just got to throw it up to your playmaker and let them make a play, and it's a heck of a job right there.
It's got to be an extra good feeling for Keaton. He had a muffed punt last week, a turnover in the game against Georgia that led directly to a Georgia touchdown. It was a game where Georgia Southern lost in overtime. Keaton fields that punt. Maybe Georgia Southern wins the game.
Yeah, we talked about this during the week. Coach Fritz says when they're +2 on turnovers, they win. That was the one that made it -1 for those guys.
Johnson will get a chance to return a kick finally for the 7, and Georgia Southern is all over it. He is only up to the 19, a return of 12 yards. And in fact, the touchback would have been preferable to this field position for the Jaguars.
It's going to be interesting to see what their philosophy is. I mean, 1 minute and 29 seconds with all 3 of your timeouts. That's plenty of time to try to be aggressive and get the ball downfield. However, those 2 long drives now that your defense had to endure. You know, you might be well pressed to try to eat some clock and try to get 1 or 2 first downs and let the clock run out. It's going to be interesting to see what this Jaguar offense decides to do.
Terrence Timmons is back. Danny Woodson alone at the bottom of the screen. Haven't seen Marvin Shin or DJ Vincent, 2 of their top receivers, yet today. Clements going for a home run on first down, and he overshot McGee.
On cue, huh? He had a step or 2. That's unfortunate. And Clements, he'd like to have that back because that's a house call. That's a 1-play drive if they execute that. Just a beautiful route, runs right by the corner, and just an overthrow by Cody Clements.
McGee's their home run hitter. He's at around 26 yards per catch this year. Son of Wendell McGee, former Major League Baseball outfielder. Johnson takes on second down. Is hit hard. Antoine Williams drove him back. Check that. That was Ironhead Gallen, in fact. 27 on the stop. And now Georgia Southern will use a timeout with 1:16 to go in the half.
First down, incomplete pass, high alert for running. Ironhead, I was thinking, and Ironhead was thinking the exact same thing. He was all over it. And this is the problem when you take your shots in early downs. The clock really hasn't moved very much. You come back with a second down run, get you 1 yard, and now what do? Do you go back and throw the ball again and risk an incomplete pass with the clock stopping, or do you try to run the football, make them use a timeout? I say you try to go get the first down, right? I think you can't play too passive in this situation. I think you got to throw the ball, look for your tight end, who's been effective in the first quarter, and Gerald Everett, he's a matchup problem. Let's see if you can get him on a stick route and keep this drive going.
Everett does have a 35-yard catch. It's his only one so far, though. Everett is in a slot to the left right now. Out there with Chris Lewis and Danny Woodson. Kuchera top of the screen. They'll go his way, and it's picked off. Darius White off the deflection. White worms his way down to the 10-yard line and out of bounds to set up first and goal.
Great job by White off the tip drill. Defensive backs all around the country at every level of football practice the tip drill. You got to be able to make plays with the ball in the air once they've been tipped, and it's a great pass. It just comes off his hands. And there's White, Johnny on the spot. And again, he's greedy. I like greedy defensive football players. Don't just catch the ball or knock it down and get no yards. That's your ball in the air. You catch it, now you look to score. And look at him, look at the quick turn. Look at Ironhead get the block. Look at the blockers leading them in. Look at Big Ellison leading them. I mean, you got to have sudden change. You go from defense to offense. As a defensive player, I'd love to see it.
White had a key turnover last week. He forced and recovered a fumble inside the 10. With Georgia on the move, here he has his second interception of the year. Ellison first and goal. The running back is Breida. And Breida is tripped up from behind. A terrific open field tackle by Trey Alford, the nose tackle.
Just what the doctor ordered right there. You got to get negative plays against this offense or you have no chance. You got to get them off schedule. And Alford did his job right there.
No rush here for Georgia Southern with 2 timeouts remaining. Second and goal from the 8. Tight end Dean is out in front as a blocker on the option. Ellison stood up shy of the corner.
Kevin, that's essentially a quarterback sweep into the boundary with an option off of it for the pitch. It's really hard to defend because it's a sweep look. You got a lead blocker and your fullback 33 leading the way. If there's a problem up inside, Ellison has an option to pitch it outside. It's one of the best runners in America. It's really tough to stop, and the only thing that helped there was the boundary. I'd like to see that play run to the field side.
Well, Georgia Southern had the timeouts, and the Eagles will use one. Check that, South Alabama. And it is a South Alabama timeout. So a third and goal from the 2 and a timeout called by South Alabama. Georgia Southern, a football program that has had quite an interesting history. They first began football in 1924, suspended it along with all other athletic activities, as a lot of schools did, for World War II. There it stayed dormant for about 40 years, and Irk Russell, a local legend from Georgia, was hired as coach. And look at the success. They begin one AA play in 84. They win a championship the next year in 85. Then they went back-to-back in 86. The 5th and 6th national titles under Paul Johnson, the Georgia Tech coach. And just last year, the Eagles made the jump from FCS to FBS. A lot of fans knew their name the year before when Georgia Southern went into the swamp and beat Florida in their final game as a member of FCS.
Joey James, the head coach of South Alabama, gave him a great compliment this week, saying that they have a great deal going. You usually get 25,000 fans in the stadium. They got a great culture, and winning is a part of who they are and their identity.
Now Breida's going out as a wide receiver on a third and goal. Ellison will take it, leap over the pile, and find the end zone. This time, Ellison would not be denied.
Wow. You sure that's Kevin Ellison? Because that might be Bob Beeman. I mean, where does he lead from? The 3 and goes 2 yards deep? That's a tremendous athlete at the quarterback position. And that puts a heck of a lot of pressure on the defense to have to worry about multiple runners at both positions. I know you're too young to know who Bob Beeman is, right?
I know who Bob Beeman is.
Carl Lewis, how's that? You're probably too young for that.
He sang the national anthem once, right?
Yeah, it didn't go very well.
So well, in the triple jump, you don't have to run into a couple of 270-pound defenders normally, but but Ellison up the stakes with his 2-yard plunge.
That's right, and Darian Foreman came around and did a great job of blocking in a pulling situation. Ended up getting 2 and really led the way for Ellison, who's having one heck of a day.
On the ground now, Ellison 6 carries for 72 yards, 2 touchdowns, plus the 56-yarder that set up the 1-yard Breida touchdown. And that is just a crush for South Alabama. You want to talk about momentum if you want, but let's just talk about the scoreboard. You're down by 7. You have a 3rd down deep in your own territory. If the pass is incomplete, even if Kuchera drops it and the pass lands, well, the Georgia Southern, which isn't a passing team, has to go along field. Maybe they score, maybe not. But on the interception by White, the Eagles are set up at the 10, and the way their offense is moving, they're not going to be denied.
And that's the decision we talked about. Do you risk it by throwing? I mean, there's 3 bad things that can happen when you throw, and one of them happened.
By the way, Georgia Southern will get the ball to start the second half. Johnson stays in the end zone, kneels on the E.
So they make the decision to throw the ball. You can either get a sack, cause, fumble, incomplete pass, or interception. Those 3 bad things. Obviously, the interception happened, and what a great return as well. It set Georgia Southern up on the goal line. And so, hindsight's 2020. Would it have been a little bit different if you run the football, use some clock, punt the ball, play field position, and force Georgia Southern now to throw the football to get back downfield? Well, we'll never know, but those are the type of decisions that eat at coaches long after the final whistle.
Well, it's kneel down time right now. South Alabama will just get into the locker room. In a game they led 14-7. 62-yard fumble return for a touchdown by Devon Earl. And since that point, Georgia Southern has been perfect offensively. 3 drives and 3 touchdowns to end the second half as the Eagles lead by 14 heading into the break.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Georgia Southern, this is exactly what you want. You took control of the ball game in the second quarter. You did it by running your stuff. Couple mistakes with penalties, but if you don't beat yourself, you're feeling good. If you're the Jaguars, you got to regroup, man. I mean, it's a whole half to be played.
Capital One, a halftime show coming up from Statesboro.
You're all excited to book that vacation flight. Plenty of seats to choose from, right? But the minute you try to use reward miles from your airline credit card, it's slim pickings. The flight you want, sorry, they ask for a ridiculous number of miles. Time to switch to the Capital One Venture Card. With Venture, you'll earn unlimited double miles. And using those miles is easy. Just book any flight you want on any airline, then use your miles to cover the cost. No blackout dates. What's in your wallet?
This is the Capital One halftime report. At the half in Statesboro, 28-14, Georgia Southern looking to stay in the hunt for the Sun Belt title, leads South Alabama. Here at halftime, I want to take a look at the story of Jesse Reesing, a former Yale football player whose life became so much more.
The Marine Corps was a means of expression. It was a means for me to, express how strongly I felt about my country and who I was. Because I was injured, I would never have a military career. I was in denial about for a long, long time. I was no longer that person anymore.
Captain of his high school team, valedictorian of his class in Decatur, Illinois. Jesse Reising knew he'd been given an almost unimaginable opportunity to attend Yale. As a senior, he'd be academic All-Ivy and start all 10 games.
There is little doubt that this game transcends just a football score.
There were 10 minutes left in the 2010 Harvard-Yale game. 10 minutes left in the football career of Jesse Reising, lined up at outside linebacker for Yale.
And here's Winters now with plenty of time, looking, throwing. What a hit at the 28-yard line.
I didn't lose consciousness. I couldn't really move or feel anything at the time. I remember hearing somebody yelling, "He's paralyzed, don't touch him."
Oh my goodness, that's scary.
That was scary.
The quietest I've ever heard a football stadium. I mean, you could hear a cell phone go off in the stands.
Jesse Rising would lie there motionless for minutes, one thought in his head.
Well, I was concerned about whether the injury was going to delay my path into the Marine Corps by a year. Or
You were already thinking about that while you were on the field.
Yeah.
24 hours later, Jesse could move everything except his right arm. He'd torn the C5 and C6 nerve branches in his neck. Not even surgery 6 months later could restore the full use of his arm. His military dream was over. What'd that feel like?
Sorry, I gotta wipe my face for a minute. For me, the Marine Corps was just so wrapped up with my sense of identity. The losing that, I didn't know who I was yet, but I wasn't a Marine.
Jesse would go to Afghanistan as a civilian. He'd go to law school, and he'd find another way to serve his country.
Maybe it's something about the way that we read that makes a difference.
Joining with two friends to found the Warrior Scholar Project, 1 week of intense training to prepare veterans for the academic rigors of elite colleges and universities.
We'll actually put you through a very immersive academic boot camp experience before you ever have to set foot on campus. And that academic boot camp is going to prepare them with writing and reading and critical thinking and analytical skills.
Since its start, the Warrior Scholar Project has helped more than 300 veterans. People like ex-Marine Samantha DeMaiziere and Ted Scofus, a former Army Ranger.
The intense personalized instruction where they in the immediate feedback on your performance, it really allows you to straighten yourself out in large ways.
It would mentally prepare me better for school because, you know, you're taught by professors, you're given strategies on how to deal with long readings, how to write essays.
Thanks in part to the Warrior Scholar Project, both Samantha and Ted are now flourishing at Columbia University in New York City.
When you were in high school, what would you have thought of the prospects of attending an Ivy League school like Columbia University?
I don't think I would have been accepted.
I was not the best kid, but I mean, I'd like to say I straightened up, and I'm well on my way to become really successful.
As Jesse helps to provide veterans with an opportunity similar to the one that transformed his own life, the pain of his past spurs him to do even more.
It is very reassuring and encouraging to hear from the Warrior Scholars themselves what a difference this program has made in their lives. I'm very driven by the hole that's left in my heart from losing the Marine Corps. So I'm never going to be satisfied with, the stories that I hear completely. It is great to hear those things, but we've still got a lot of work to do.
Welcome back to the Capital One halftime report on ESPN. 14-point lead for Georgia Southern at the half over South Alabama. Last week, one of the plays that had folks buzzing around the country was a spectacular catch by Fred Ross of Mississippi State. Well, the folks from Sports Science have gone inside the reception.
Our college football play of the week comes from Mississippi State wideout Fred Ross, whose sick one-handed catch led to a 55-yard touchdown against Arkansas. To reach the 49-mile-per-hour pass with defender Kevin Richardson less than a foot away, Ross leaps 46 hundredths of a second before it arrives. This allows Ross to make contact with the ball more than 8 feet off the ground. But the ball collides with Ross's hands with roughly 50 pounds of force, more than double the force of a typical catch, and more than enough to cause the ball to ricochet. But Ross clenches his fingers around the ball in just 0.03 of a second. And he applies an estimated 140 pounds of force, on par with the grip used by an elite rock climber. This allows Ross to bring the ball down and secure the catch with his left hand in just a quarter of a second. Then he shakes off Richardson by quickly accelerating to nearly 14 miles per hour. Now as Ross grazes the sideline, D-back Josh Liddell closes in using a pursuit angle virtually perpendicular to Ross's forward momentum vector. Taking advantage of this decision, Ross makes a sharp 30-degree cut and retains about 85% of his linear velocity. This helps him slip by Liddell and get to the house to land our play of the week.
Now, one key to this incredible catch was Ross's ability to initially grab the ball on its side. In fact, compared to catching the ball at one of its ends, catching it this way allowed Ross to theoretically apply a grip that was about 3 times stronger. For ESPN Sports Science, I'm John Brinkus.
Back to the Capital One halftime report. Georgia Southern 28, South Alabama 14 here in Statesboro. Kevin Brown, Tyoka Jackson. This was a 14-7 South Alabama lead after a fumble recovery that you'll see from Devon Earl, a scoop and score. Since then, it has been all Georgia Southern.
Yeah, great start by both teams, and then you kind of just fell off the wheels in terms of how South Alabama did in the second quarter. I mean, things just kind of got away from him. He got an avalanche and made one big play with a turnover return for a touchdown. Other than that, they kind of started to break down offensively, kept their defense on the field, and it just kind of got ugly after that.
Let's take a look at our highlights, though, because the Jaguars did get on the board first. The play that set up this touchdown is a little back throw to Gerald Everett for 35 yards. It is, however, Everett's only catch of the first half.
Yeah, they got to get the ball to this guy. He's a difference maker, and he's a matchup problem for him. One catch is just not going to get it done.
Tyrese Thomas would finish off the drive with a 2-yard run for a 7-0 University of South Alabama USA lead. Back came the Eagles, and Matt Breida had himself quite a first half.
Yeah, he was the story, and we talked about during the week with the coaching staff how you slow this thing down. And sometimes when you see a lot as a defender against this sort of option, you get nothing done. I think what's happening is they're getting enamored with all of this motion and all of these shifts, and they're not taking care of the most important player, and that's Breida.
Kevin almost had a couple of big runs there. That was 56 yards to set up a Breida touchdown. But the big play for South Alabama was this. Akeem Lewis, the strip. Devon Earl, 62 yards on the fumble return. Give the Jaguars a 14-7 lead, but Georgia Southern has scored all 3 touchdowns since, and they are dominating this game in terms of yardage.
Yeah, we talked about South Alabama needing to stay balanced. Look at those rushing yards. That's not balanced. They kind of got off schedule. That's hurt them big time. They got to get back to running the football, being able to do both with equal efficiency, and then that can bring them back. Don't try to get this lead back in 1 or 2 possessions. Go back to being balanced, and you'll be fine.
28-14 is the score. Georgia Southern has the lead. 1 game off the lead in the Sun Belt, with South Alabama looking to win and make a bowl. We'll have the second half kickoff when we come back.
Larry?
Jesse?
So, you got any big New Year's Eve plans?
Not at all. I'm just going to be sitting at home alone watching the college football playoff all by myself. Just me and the TV, you know.
Oh, hey, Larry. Thanks for the invite. Playoff party at your place.
Oh, yeah? I didn't know that.
Party?
Well, yeah, it's less of a party, more of a small get-together.
Hey, Larry, see you at the party.
And John, he's coming.
Wow.
I know. You ever tasted his bean dip, man? Out of this world.
High school, Dr. Bub here. High school.
Hi, would you sign my petition?
Miss, can you sign my petition?
It says, I, Larry Culpepper,
to present the national championship trophy.
The winner of the college football playoff.
I invented the playoff. I should be able to hand out the trophy.
That's my job. Who are you?
Almost got John Saunders to sign it. If I give you a Dr. Pepper, will you sign my petition?
No.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here.
Now give me 6. Don't spill on it. I can't read that. You're going to have to do it again.
Let's go, Dr. Pepper here. Let's go, Dr. Pepper here.
Welcome back to Paulson Stadium for the second half. Georgia Southern 28 and South Alabama 14. Kevin Brown, Tyoka Jackson, and our entire ESPN crew thrilled to be with you on this Saturday afternoon. And what a Saturday it is here in late November. Beautiful day, you never know it. Opening kick will go to Georgia Southern. It is driven away from Derek Keaton and into the end zone for a touchback off the right leg of South Alabama's Gavin Patterson. So Georgia Southern will begin at its own 25-yard line, having scored the last 21 points of the game. South Alabama talked about, and their coordinator Darius Pearson, doing more individual work this week, being disciplined defensively in terms of this option game. What are they doing so far that you've seen?
I think they're seeing too much, Kevin. I think they're losing eye discipline. Georgia Southern did a really good job of throwing some early passes in to get them thinking about that, and they kind of lost continuity with their run stopping.
Saw the numbers on Ellison, who's had an outstanding half. Here he gives way to Breida, shoving his way for a gain of 5 yards out to the 30. Matt Breida in the first half, 11 carries, 72 yards, and a touchdown. He is closing in on 1,400 yards for the second straight year. He's now just 15 shy of that mark.
Georgia Southern deferred in the first half with the coin toss. This is why you do it. You come out, you get the ball in the second half. They're going to try to put this ball game away with a long drive ending in an end zone.
Ellison fakes a pitch, shimmies his way through with a flag down in the backfield. It's a first down only for the moment, with a penalty marker down at the 29-yard line. Georgia Southern in the first half penalized 4 times.
Penalties 10 yards from the spot of the snap, second down.
And that's their 5th.
So it looks like number 77 gets a little collar there. Yeah, that's when you flail, like when you see a defensive lineman flail their arms like that, they're getting collared up. And it's all about keeping your hands down inside the framework. A lot of times these big offensive linemen like to get up around the neck, and we as D linemen hate that, of course. So we'll throw our arms up and get the referee's attention, but that is holding textbook, no question.
That is Tommy Boynton, the sophomore first-year starter, with the violation setting up a 2nd and 15. Again, it is Breida driving his way forward. Legs are still moving. In fact, Breida never even went down. Forward progress was stopped.
No shock in it. The guy's a tough guy, but this is why penalties drive coaches crazy. Gets them off schedule. Now you got 3rd and long when it shouldn't be. That's the only part of this ball game that Georgia Southern has not been good at. 5 penalties is too many.
Georgia Southern, the worst passing team in the FBS, coming in. Is 4 of 5 so far. Ellison 2 for 3, and Upshaw's hit a couple.
If you're the Jaguars, you got to come after him here. I don't think you can let him sit back and survey the defense. You should come after him and let him get that ball out of his hands quickly.
3rd and 11, 4 receivers for Ellison. Plenty of time to throw. He'll work his way to Keaton, who could not hang on.
Wow.
Was right at the first down marker, and Derek Keaton with a touchdown grab early on. Misses this one.
Just a stick route, Kevin. I mean, it's wide open, and ball's on time and on target. You got to make the catch. They went 3-man rush, and this is not a great pass rushing team anyway from the Jaguars. They go 3-man rush, decide to play coverage, and give the quarterback plenty of time and plenty of window to see, and just couldn't execute the catch. The fundamental of catching the football.
So Ryan Nowicki is on to punt. Clean operation, but the punt is blocked. It's loose near the 10-yard line, and South Alabama will have a 1st and goal.
You wonder the type of attitude South Alabama would come out of the locker room with, and you got to give a lot of credit to this coaching staff, Joey James and company, to keep these guys in it. What a great play. The momentum changer, game-changing play, right up the gut. There's pressure, but the block comes from around the corner. So there were a lot of missed blocks on that play, and this is exactly what they needed to get back in it. It doesn't get much shorter than, a 7-yard drive they're looking for now.
Ball is set up right now just inside the 8-yard line for a South Alabama 1st and goal. A game-changing defensive play for the Jaguars in the first half, and now one on special teams here. Woodson with Marvin Shin in the game, and Everett to the left of the formation. It is a handoff. Tyrese Thomas working his way up near the 5-yard line for a short gain on first down.
Smart. Go back to the run. Brian Vincent, offensive coordinator, comes out of the locker room trying to run their entire playbook, which is smart. Get the balance back. Get a rhythm for Clemens. He needs a running game to be in rhythm. That's how you got off to a hot start. See if you can do it in the second half.
Thomas, 6 carries, 22 yards, had a touchdown to open the game. Here's a play fake. Clemens will keep, pull his head down, and pick up maybe a half a yard, if that. Antoine Williams and Bernard Dawson were in on that play.
Georgia Southern's played defense, pretty good defense all game. I mean, after that initial drive, they've only given up 27 total yards, and that's pretty darn good. Now, this is red zone defense, high alert here, and we got a quarterback change too.
And Clemens shaken up, he's out of the game. Dallas Davis, who's only thrown 7 passes this year, the redshirt freshman, is in.
Got to look for Gerald Everett here. He's the winner for you.
He's in the slot left. Davis going that way. Everett tried to make a one-handed catch and couldn't hang on. Ironhead Gallen in coverage.
Yeah, they tried to make it happen. It's a smart decision by the coaching staff, and Dallas Davis is looking for his best receiver. Runs a little look route. Great coverage, like you said, by Ironhead Gallen, and what he's forcing there is a perfect throw. When you're in position that way, it's got to be a perfect throw in a small window. Dallas Davis isn't able to execute it. Great effort, though, by Gerald Everett. Just couldn't come up with the ball.
Trying to pull his best Fred Ross impersonation. Mississippi State wide receiver, whose one-hand grab you saw broken down at the half. So it's a field goal try for Aleem Sunanan. And Sunanan is now 14 for 17 on the year. 23 yards to put South Alabama on the board in the second half. A blocked punt leads to 3 for the Jaguars. It's an 11-point Georgia Southern lead early in the second half. Good news for South Alabama. Senior quarterback came out of the game after taking a tough hit on second down. And a Dallas Davis incompletion set up an Aleem Sunanan 24-yard field goal. So South Alabama gets 3 after the blocked punt by Ronnie Reed. But Georgia Southern's red zone defense holds the Jaguars to a field goal. Keaton will let this kick go into the end zone for a touchback. Clemens was shaken up on a second down run. Here it is.
It's always a problem when you have those dual threat guys. You love them because they can make plays with their legs, but when they become a runner and put that ball underneath their arm, they're no longer getting that protection, that halo that all quarterbacks love. They're just like everyone else. And in fact, you want to get a bigger hit on the quarterback any opportunity you can because they're so well protected. So it's kind of a gift and a curse when you got a dual threat guy.
Clemens getting some throws in as Georgia Southern returns on offense with Ellison and Breida in the backfield. South Alabama has stuffed the box on this first down play, and Breida will run right through it. Breida to the open field. Matt Breida to the 30. There he goes. Chase from behind, and he will score. 75 yards.
That's that loss of gap integrity we talked about earlier. When you see a lot, you see too much, you get nothing done. In one gap football, everybody's accountable. You have to do your job and don't try to do too much. And there's a 1 missed tackle and an 8-man front, and that's a house call. They talked about funneling their plays to their safeties. Well, when your safety misses a tackle, it's a bad look for the entire defense.
Margot Reed eventually chased him down. It was a little bit too late. 14 carries for Breida, 156 yards and 2 touchdowns. He continues to torment the Jaguars, and the Eagles are up 18. Matt Breida ran for 187 yards, 2 touchdowns last year against South Alabama. The 187 at the time was a career high for an encore. He scored twice, and he has a $156 today.
8-man front. When you have an 8-man front, everybody has a job. You have to do your job and be accountable. They turned everything back perfectly to their star. That's the position it's called. Jeremy Reeves got to make that play, and it's tough because you got one of the best backs in America, and Reeves is only 185 pounds, and boy, when you got a roller coaster running through you, that's tough. But that's what it's about. Everybody's got to do their job. Be accountable. That's team football, and that's why football is a great teacher for life.
Kick from Younghoe Koo. Xavier Johnson's going to run this one out of the end zone. Scored from the end zone already this year on a 100-plus yard return against Idaho. And here he is 82 yards shy of that. Down to the 18.
When you draw plays on a grease board, you know, this guy's got this gap and this guy's got that gap. So if they run here, we'll be fine because we got this guy sitting in the hole. Well, that's all well and good until the guy that they got running the football is exceptional. And when the guy who's running the football is a little bit better than the guy who's trying to tackle him, you really can't draw up anything to stop that. And that's kind of what's happening here.
Luckily for you, you never had that issue.
No, never. I mean, Barry Sanders out. Who's he? Thurman Thomas, nothing. I didn't care about that. Marshall Faulk, meant nothing to me.
If you want to Google the framed photo of Tioka tackling Barry Sanders, I'm sure there's a good chance to get it still. Dallas Davis still in the game, and Josh McGee couldn't hang on in double coverage. Antonio Glover, the strong safety, breaks it up.
So here's how a lot of games set up for Georgia Southern. They get up early, or they get up at some point. They know the opposing team knows that they're going to run the ball and be unstoppable on the other side. So they have to now get desperate. And so they start throwing jump balls. No time runs off the clock, becomes a 3-and-out situation, and then their defense is right back on the field. You have to resist that temptation. You got to run the football here.
They will. Johnson, and he is absolutely crushed. Helmet flies off for Big Jay Ellison, who made the stop with a flag down near the point of impact.
Big Jay had that slice of pizza we talked about in the halftime. He had it in the locker room because he brought the entire 310-pound wood on that one. I love seeing big guys who are active. Watch Big J come down the line, fights off the block. There it is. When you decide to put your foot in the ground and cut up, there's got to be someone to meet you. And Mr. Ellison was that guy for Georgia Southern.
What kind of slice do you think he had?
Extra large.
Holding, number 12 offense.
Attack on a holding penalty by Gerald Everett to the play. It is declined. And a 3rd and long coming up.
Now, from Georgia Southern, there's no need to blitz here. I'm rushing 4, playing coverage and playing the sticks. If I'm South Alabama, I got to find a way to get the ball to number 12. He's the guy that creates your mismatch no matter what the grease board said, just like Brenda does for the other team.
And again, Dallas Davis, the backup quarterback, is still in. Floating one for Everett, incomplete. Wouldn't have been inbounds anyway. And there are 2 impact players off the top, Everett and Williams. Advantage Williams.
And you saw the speed from Williams there. That's what makes him special. There's a lot of big guys, but there aren't too many big guys who can turn and run with an athletic tight end there. This was a situation where a back shoulder throw would have been what you want to draw up in order, but you're asking a whole lot from a redshirt freshman quarterback to come off the bench cold and throw back shoulder throws without having practiced them a lot.
Aleem Sudanon with a short punt. Gets a South Alabama bounce. Derek Keaton will stay away. And the Jaguars will down this right inside the 40-yard line. A punt of 42 yards, no return. Here is the Georgia Southern punt coverage team. Keaton, who has a touchdown today. Punt return team, should say, for the Eagles. As Kevin Ellison will take over. Fabian Upshaw was the hot hand last week. He played in the 4th quarter in overtime against Georgia, and the Eagles' overtime loss to the Bulldogs, a game that certainly would have shook up the state had Georgia Southern pulled it out. But Upshaw's only played 1 drive today. Ellison has been the hot hand, and he has led Georgia Southern to 5 touchdowns. Option with Breida. Ellison got the pitch off just in time. Breida with a nice cutback across midfield, a 1st down, and a gain of 11 more.
If you're the Jaguars, this is about pride. Okay? You have to come out here when you're hurting and you're tired, and you got to take a stand for your football team. But don't do too much, because as soon as you start guessing against this option attack, they will rip you with another big long run or pass play. You got to hone in and do your job. Tighten the screws and give tremendous effort within the continuity of the defense and take a stand.
South Alabama team that lost 8 of its top 10 tacklers from last year. 40 seniors left the program to graduation. Inside give here. This is Ramsby diving across the 45-yard line. Georgia Southern continues to pile up yards on the ground. They have been one of the most prolific rushing attacks in the FBS this year. Look at these numbers.
Super impressive. And I firmly believe the more the rest of the country moves to spread, throwing the ball, the more effective they will be, because no one practices against it. So when you see this offense, it's the first time you ever see it, and the only time you'll see it every season.
Ramsby again, up the gut for a first down, and a pickup of 6. Georgia Southern is zigging while everybody else zags, and there is still a market for this style of football.
There's no question. The more everyone else gets soft, okay, the more everyone else wants to throw it around and play basketball on the field. You play this way, physical, you have a distinct advantage. There's no question about it. And the numbers bear it out.
On a 1st and 10, it's Fields, the running back, breaking his way out of a tackler. Another one. Wesley Fields refusing to go down, and he's upended at the 15. 23 more hard-earned yards for the Georgia Southern freshman.
I can hear the late, great Joe Paterno saying in my ear, this is a game of attrition. You keep hitting the other guy. That's exactly what's happening here. You see the defense who's been on the field way too long, and you see a stable of hungry young backs who want to make their big play. And they're like, Breeder's not our only guy. We got a bunch of guys who can make plays. So they're coming in with fresh legs, and they want to make their statement to the entire country as well.
5 carries, 47 yards for Fields. Breida back in on an option play. Got the pitch late, shuffling his feet. And the collision is just shy of the 10-yard line. 4 more yards for Breida. Georgia Southern up to 350 on the ground this afternoon.
Everyone wants to be finesse offense and toss the ball around. No. Football is still about blocking and tackling and the fundamentals of doing those well. And when you got physical runners with an offensive line who enjoys what they do and know how to block them up, it's really pretty to watch.
Unless you're a Jaguar. 2nd down, Breida. Not much there. Let me ask you, as a defensive lineman, what would you rather play against, this or the spread?
Well, as a pass rusher, I was a little bit of an undersized guy. So as a pass rusher, I'd much rather play against the spread because I can wear an offensive lineman out over the course of four quarters. This was easier mentally to play against because you just read your keys and go, but you got challenged every play. So it was tougher physically. Usually teams want to get away from the run. This team's pot committed to 4 quarters of running the football, and it's tough.
Crowded backfield on 3rd down. Fake to Fields. Ellison keeps. He hurdles his way to the 5. And Georgia Southern is going airborne on this drive. 1st down.
This is who they are. This is exactly where they take a lot of teams to places they don't want to go. You want to stop Breida? Well, we're going to fake it to Breida and bring our athletic quarterback who has no regard for his body because he wants to get first downs because he wants to win. They got a bunch of winners on this football team, and they play hard the entire game.
Does that worry you a little bit as a coach, though?
Well, it does, but, I mean, you got to pick your poison. This is who he is. You can't slow the kid down. Go put him somewhere else. If you don't like the way he plays, put him on defense. But this is who he is, and he's going to do all he can to make plays, and this is why you got to have a backup quarterback like a Fabian Upshaw to come in and spell him every now and then.
Ramsby a yard after the run by Ellison. He's up to 78 yards on 7 carries, Kevin Ellison. Ramsby with his 9th carry of the game, one of 4 Georgia Southern players with at least 5 carries today. 2nd and goal. Fields the running back. This time Ellison will keep. Almost lost the football there.
Here's an opportunity for a red zone stop if you're the Jaguars. And they haven't quit, let's be honest. I haven't seen a group of that white shirts quit. They're just getting tired. And when you have an option to the field, they're going to stress. They're going to stress your defense and make them run. That time, did a good job of containing and setting the edge, cut it back to a wall of white defenders. Great job against the option on that play.
Coming into the game, opposing teams had scored touchdowns on 80% of their red zone trips and scored on 98% against South Alabama. Eagles 3 for 3 in touchdowns today. Ellison here on a 3rd and goal, and he won't get close. Stood up on the quarterback keeper just across the 5-yard line and maybe a little bit banged up.
Well, that's exactly what you talked about, right? I mean, it's a gift and a curse.
Ellison's helped to his feet by Isaiah Sese, the freshman tight end.
Now, we know Upshaw's a little banged up himself, and so where do you turn now? I think this game is probably in hand, but it's still early. I mean, you certainly wouldn't want to take your foot off the gas at this point, but you don't want either one of these quarterbacks to have a serious injury and miss extended time. That's a developing situation. We'll see what happens.
Checking on the left arm of Ellison is Brandy Klaus, one of 8 female trainers, head female trainers in the FBS. Field goal kick is from Youngwei Koo, who is 6 for 7 on the year, and Koo slots it through. So some injury worries for Georgia Southern, up 21. Kevin Ellison was attended to on the sideline during that break. You think maybe it's a stinger on his left arm?
Yeah, I did. The things they were going through looks like stinger protocol, pushing on the arms, checking for nerve, feelings in his hands. As a defensive player, I've had far too many of those. You don't see too many quarterbacks taking those, but he took a nice shot. And he's probably going through that again. I think it's going to be interesting to see if he comes back in the ball game, and if they do, they start to hand it off a lot more.
Lead of 21 after the field goal of 22 yards by Koo. Johnson will take from the goal line. He has absolutely nowhere to go. This kick coverage unit for Georgia Southern has been terrific all day.
Yeah, they've shown up. Coach Fritz talked about the return game was one of the things that they had to win, and they're doing that at Georgia Southern. I mean, you had 4 guys basically who had beaten blocks, and there was nowhere to go for the return man.
Dallas Davis is back out for South Alabama. Again, Cody Clements took a hard hit near the goal line at the beginning of this quarter. Davis is 0 for 3 today and 5 for 10 on the year. Dual threat quarterback in high school in Florida who ran for over 1,000 yards. And here's some major pointing for the right side of the offensive line. Noah Fisher pointing right at the defensive line of Georgia Southern before the snap.
Neutral zone infraction, maybe. That's the only thing I could think that offensive line would jump up in unison.
False start, 57 offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Guess not.
Yeah. I mean, generally you get an opportunity to jump back if you're a defender. I'm not sure why they would think that would be the right thing to do. And it cost them. If you're South Alabama here, you got to run the football. You got to back up quarterback in. The dogs are hunting the quarterback. You got to run the ball. Tyrus Thomas.
They'll throw it with Davis on the run into coverage and dropped by Glover, who nearly had an interception with a flag thrown right near the point of impact.
Playing with fire here. I understand that you aren't giving up, but running the football is not a give up. You got to establish something to play off of with a young quarterback. They move the pocket to get away from the rush. I like that. But again, you got to develop some confidence. How about a screen? How about just a slant?
Pass interference, 24 defense. The penalty is 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
They get bailed out by the call, but I just cannot stress enough. You got to do something to get the kids some rhythm and some confidence before you start throwing the ball downfield.
Riyad Jones committed the penalty. And with some breathing room at the 21-yard line, Jaguars will leave Thomas in the backfield with Davis. Everett split out, lone receiver left to the formation after only the second South Alabama penalty. And they try to run it here, but the Eagles are all over it. Loss of a yard on the play. Bernard Dawson, again, in on the stop.
Nice job by Dawson. In football, there are sister plays. That was a read option. They can come back with a read option pass to give the young quarterback Dallas an option to throw it over the top to his big-time tight end Everett or continue to run down the corner. That play has been there. They got away from it because the score tried to get away from them. But that play has kind of been there all day with that sister play. You got to find a way to get Everett the football. They split them again. Here's an opportunity to do it again.
Matt Thompson, the free safety, one-on-one with Everett right now, bottom of the screen. Davis faces the pressure. Down he goes. Antoine Williams, 3.5 sacks on the year. I'd be seeing that young man on Sundays soon. He makes the sack.
Unbelievable rush. Watch it come right up the middle, right up the gut. They run a nice stunt there with Ironhead. He's the unblocked player. And when we saw the unblocked player miss the tackle for Alabama, South Alabama, the unblocked player makes the tackle. But when the unblocked player is one of the best players in America, that's generally going to happen. Worst case scenario here now for the offense. Excuse me, Kevin. Again, backed up, 3rd and long. What do you do?
3rd and 21 to be precise, so play it safe. Give the ball to Thomas. Needs the 31 for a first down. And he got 16 on the play, but is still shy to set up 4th and 5. Going to lead the offense on here, try and get something going down 21.
Why not?
No, the punt team will come on.
You've shown no ability to stop this team no matter where you give them the ball on the field. I understand that the field position, the book says don't go for it, but at some point, you're still trying to win the football game.
Some books say go for it. Just depends on which one you check out of the library. Keaton to his own 35. A couple of nice returns have been negated by penalties today. And this one is a return of 10 yards out to the 45. No flags to 5. Stopped by Brad Murray.
I'm interested who comes in the ball game at quarterback.
Ellison's getting out in the huddle, but now he's behind Upshaw. I think Ellison wants to come back in the game, but the Georgia Southern coaches aren't having it. Maybe an Upshaw will take over.
And that's what you want. You want your competitors to try to get in. Your job as the coach is to make the decision of who runs onto the field, but you want all your guys snorting and hungry and slobbering just to get back in to get more of this stuff. Got to love the football.
Upshaw with Matt Breida as the running back. Miles Campbell, a motion man. And Breida will take it. Get hit from behind. Gain of 5 yards for Breida, who is up at 177 yards on 18 carries, nearly 10 yards per carry.
Kevin, you see how he falls forward after contact? That's a little thing, but it's a big thing because it's an attitude. As a defensive player, you never want backs falling forward all the time, and that's hitting yardage. It's 2 or 3 yards every time he catches or touches the football, just from falling forward.
L.A. Ramsby with Breida on the sideline. Ramsby swarmed under by a couple of Jaguar players. Caleb Jackson's made a couple of stops today. He's in on the play along with Blake Dees, their middle linebacker, a Texas Tech transfer. Lots and lots of transfers all over this two deep for South Alabama. About 20 players that get regular playing time are transfers, a number of them from UAB, which shut down the football program last year and has decided to reopen it. They'll have a new team in 2017. Number of JUCO transfers as well. On the 3rd down, Breida searching for space. Ended up squirming out at the end of the pile, reached the football right near the first down marker at the 46-yard line. And it will be enough for a first down.
What you're seeing right now is an offensive line that averages over 300 pounds, and you see a defensive line or a defense total who doesn't have a player 300 pounds or more. Well, just one guy 300 pounds on the entire roster. So the size, the smarts, the technique of the offensive line is really wearing down on this front of South Alabama.
Breida's closing in on 3,000 career yards, really in just 2 years. Ramsby finds a seam. L.A. Ramsby cutting his way back. He's in. The onslaught continues. 45 yards for L.A. Ramsby, his 11th touchdown this year.
Fresh legs, Kevin. There's nothing like it. You got a four-headed monster when you add the quarterback in, whichever quarterback's in the game, and it just wears on the defense. L.A. takes a little draw play there and just all vision. Untouched. I mean, when you got holes opening up, gaping that even you, Kevin, could run through, I mean, that's when the offense, well, not you, but that's when the offensive line is really doing their job. He gets untouched all the way to the secondary, and from there it's his talent that takes over, and he gets to score.
I think I could have scored on that.
Not so much.
I used to run track in high school. 45 yards for number 45, L.A. Ramsby. The L.A. stands for Little Al. His real name's Alfred, but he goes all Hollywood here, and the Eagles are up after 3. Kevin Brown, Tyoka Jackson, and our entire ESPN crew here at Paulson Stadium in Statesboro, and Georgia Southern has absolutely blown this game wide open. L.A. Ramsby, a 45-yard touchdown run, 46 officially to end a 4-play drive and the third quarter. Ramsby, Ellison, Breida, and Keaton all with touchdowns for Georgia Southern today. They were down 14-7 in this game. 38-3 the Eagles have dominated since. In the end zone, Xavier Johnson lets this one go. A touchback, and South Alabama will have its best starting field position after a kick yet again, tied to the 25-yard line. Joey Jones' unit, defensively, offensively, whatever unit you want to pick in the second half, not good.
And what do you say? I mean, they're playing hard. It's just that they've run into a team with a tremendous scheme. They know what they're doing. They're well coached, and they're really fast. And they got a bunch of guys who are hungry to score. That's a tough combination.
Davis stays in at quarterback. Cody Clements, the starter, is out with an injury. Dallas Davis is in as Xavier Johnson nearly burst one. A gain of 9 yards. Logan Hunt got him by the ankles.
And I really, really would have liked to seen a lot more of this earlier in the game. Certainly the scoreboard can dictate play calling, but I just feel that if you talk to the coaching staff at South Alabama, in particular Bryant Vincent, the offensive coordinator, maybe they got away from that running game a little too early. Xavier Johnson's a really good football player. He needed more touches.
Only his 8th carry for Johnson. He has 26 yards on him. He'll get it again here, chop the feet, pick up a first down. South Alabama only 5 out of 15 through the air. Cody Clements was 5 of 12, 64 yards and an interception. Dallas Davis over 3. You think back to that first drive, South Alabama was 3 for 3 on third downs. Clements was perfect except for a couple of drops. For the second straight week, South Alabama looked great on its first drive and has really been stagnant since.
Something about the state of Georgia that's kind of the kryptonite for these Jaguars. I mean, 2 times get off to a great start and then kind of get overrun.
Luckily for them, they won't be playing the Falcons next week. Davis under duress, trying to run out of it. Just slide down safely at the 35-yard line. Antoine Williams was in hot pursuit along with Riyad Jones.
Got to give credit to this front. They've been tremendous with the pass rush all day long. The big guys with an inside push, they've brought blitzes and just straight 4-man rush on the outside. They played really, really well.
Loss of a yard on that run. And Ironhead Gallen just stepped in. May have drawn South Alabama into another penalty. The Jaguars are arguing he stepped across the line.
It's clear that this is
offside, 27 defense, penalties 5 yards, second down.
They get the play that they wanted the last time when they jumped in. This is clearly something they coach. When a defensive player jumps into the neutral zone, quickly stand up. In that situation, they will call it on the defender because they're saying that they induced the movement by the offense, and when the offense moved, the guy was in the neutral zone. It's a dicey proposition. You see they're 50% on that sort of play.
For the 40-yard line. Davis throws a low one. McGee's got it. He's wrapped up immediately. Darius White took his helmet off after the play, and He'll check out after making the tackle. Really had the interception of the first down.
Really impressed with the pursuit, the overall pursuit of Georgia Southern. They really get to the football. I mean, certainly they have a star in Antoine Williams, but it's just not Williams. Ironhead Guilan is all over the field. He's a tremendous hustler, and that sort of play is infectious. And even their big guys, they all run, and that's a mark of a really, really solid group.
3rd and 5. South Alabama said no offensive traction in the second half. Davis looking right the whole way, and it's intercepted. He telegraphed that one, and Darius Jones stepped in front of Chris Lewis. Jones with his second interception of the year.
Darius Jones ran the route. I mean, he knew exactly what was coming. That's what film study will do for you. Clearly, the pre-snap lineup told him the slant was coming. He jumps in front of the receiver. The receiver's got to win on that, too. I mean, you got to fight to get inside. He kind of gave up on his quarterback there, and I mean, that's just a tremendous football play right there by White, and he comes up with the football. I mean, that's when you're on it. You're on the screws, knowing what's coming, and you jump and have the confidence to go make the play.
So if your name's Darius, your number is in between 5 and 6. Having a good game. White and Jones with interceptions both. And Georgia Southern will start in South Alabama territory at the 47. Upshaw, the quarterback. Breida still in at running back with a 28-point lead. Any surprise to see Breida still in the game?
I mean, I am, really. I mean, when you got a group and you got one guy who's exceptional, you let the group get theirs. They work hard all week. They deserve to get their carries, and you see what the group is doing.
413. This is a staggering number to be on one side of the ball. Georgia Southern 4 of 6 through the air for 53 yards, so they're closing in on 500 total yards in the game. L.A. Ramsby is the running back. Option his way. Ramsby was left alone. Got hit up high by Roman Buchanan near the 40-yard line.
Kevin, you hear the term football is about family. I always thought it was a brotherhood of men. Because family, you'll slow down for family members, but for brotherhood, you kind of say you get on the train or you're not on it. And what you see in this backfield is a lot of competition. Certainly Breida leads it, but the other guys, they want to catch up to and say, hey, I'm a good football player too. I want to get my brother's carries. And so you come in with a guy like L.A., he wants to show he's a heck of a football player. And so does the other young guys. Fields, he comes in a freshman, and he wants to show he deserves carries. So this thing becomes a group competition that's good for the team.
On 3rd down, Ramsby needs the 37. He stood up, looks like just a bit shy.
This may sound crazy with 45 points being scored, but I don't think the Jaguar defense has played that terribly the entire game. They've kind of been hung out to dry by the offense and the inability to stay on the field and create momentum from that side of the ball. And we're going to take a look at it, but I'd like to see the total plays being run by each side because I think this defense has just gotten worn out.
Time of possession right now is about 8 minutes in Georgia Southern's favor. They'll go for it on a 4th and a short 2. Eagles are 16 of 26 on 4th downs this year. Play clock at 2 for Upshaw. Gibson up the middle. First down. It's Breida, and the drive stays alive.
In a short yardage situation, it's tough. If the guy just has to fall forward for a couple of yards and the drive continues. And this is slow death. This is what every defender and defensive coach hates. You just don't know what to say to your guys because it just won't stop. Somebody's got to dig deep and say, we got to get off this field. The impetus to get off the field should be enough to create enough effort to try to get to 3rd down and win it.
Georgia Southern has now hit on 12 of its last 14 4th downs. Get the ball to Chaz Thornton here. His first carry will go for first down yardage. And a gain of 13.
So why not? That's what I mean about that brotherhood. Now you got another young guy. He wants his chance, and he wants to show, yeah, I may not be Matt Breida, but I can play too. I mean, let me get my carries, and it just becomes infectious, and it feeds on the entire group, and there's no one more happy than the offensive line because they get to do what they do best and love to do, and that's running people and run block. And you love backs as an offensive lineman who will hit the hole where it's supposed to be and run through tackles. That gets everybody fired up.
Thornton 17 carries this year, over 8 yards per. He is their 4th string running back out of Stevens County High School in Georgia, and he'll get it back. Thornton in high school ran for 6,309 yards in his career. That's 6th in Georgia history. And he surpassed with that total, among others, Herschel Walker.
When you pass Herschel Walker in anything, you're doing pretty good now. And I just think this is smart coaching. You know, go ahead and get your young guys in. He'll look at this film and feel really good about himself. And so will the entire group. Watching other young people play, the entire film room gets excited when you have success from your backup players.
After the gain of a yard, Upshaw is tripped up. Tackled on the play by Akeem Lewis. You're talking about family and football being a brotherhood. And if you look at South Alabama's roster, there are so many transfers, kids that went to junior college, guys that have come from UAB, from Alabama. How much tougher can it be to develop that brotherhood that way?
They're in the infancy of doing that. Continuity is an issue for them. 40 players they lost off the last year's squad. They're trying to figure out what they are and who their culture is and develop it on the fly, and it's tough. I mean, given that, with that turnover, they played pretty well this year.
Upshaw under pressure on 3rd down. He'll fling it up, just throw it away. And set up a 4th down.
They're so young, they haven't developed their recruiting superhighways yet. That's why they got so many transfers. They're just now establishing themselves in their recruiting territories to be a place where a kid can come play at South Alabama and their program. So this is all something that's developing while they're trying to win FBS football games. That's hard to do, especially when you come into a place like this they have an established continuity, an established identity, and a way of doing things. It's really a tough proposition.
Again, this is a program that has only existed since 2009 in the field and 2007 in the offices. 38-yard field goal good by Younghoe Koo, and Georgia Southern continues to extend its lead. Today's Capital One Impact Performance, no surprise, belongs to somebody in the Georgia Southern running game. Matt Breida.
You're all excited
16
to book
touchdowns now on the year. That was his first. His second was a little bit longer. 75 yards on this one. Broke a tackle of Jeremy Reeves. Breida last year against South Alabama, 21 carries, 187 yards, 2 touchdowns. This year against South Alabama, the exact same numbers. And it's the exact same look on Joey Jones' face as Breida and this offensive line have gashed the Jaguars.
You know, we call that rejaculous when crazy things happen like that. That's rejaculous. Just wanted to let you know that.
Do you care to elaborate on the creation of that phrase?
Unbelievable things seem to happen to Tyoka Jackson when he shows up. And how do you expect the kid to have the exact same numbers he did last year? That's rejaculation happening.
So it's ridiculous, and you're slicing your last name into the middle of it.
That's right. Just let it wash over you. Don't react quickly. Just let it wash over you and think about it. That's all I'm saying.
It's sort of like a Pink Floyd album. You have to sit there and let it marinate.
That's exactly right. But look, how about those numbers on Breida? And he deserves that recognition, but we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Cuthbert, Foreman, Northrup, Boynton, and Quan. I mean, they had a tremendous day. You can't have almost 200 yards rushing from one guy without a tremendous day from the offensive line.
Dallas Davis, his first pass on this drive to Josh McGee. He'll lose yards. And South Alabama finally hits a completion for Davis, but it goes just about nowhere. It's 2 of 6 now for negative yards passing. You mentioned that offensive line. Roscoe Bird, the right guard, got rolled up on late in the Georgia game. He's out. Ryan Northrup, the redshirt freshman, has stepped in. And all good.
Really? I mean, you haven't had to call his name, and when you're an offensive lineman, that means you're getting it done.
Second out, Johnson slips. The South Alabama offense has not had anything doing since the first drive. The 10-point sets coming a fumble return for a touchdown, and then a field goal after a blocked punt put the ball inside the 10.
There'll be some coaching in Georgia Southern tomorrow and during the week because they've had their share of miscues with the turnovers, the block punt, the penalties. They've had too many penalties, Kevin. I mean, that's what the offensive coaches are going to talk about. Too many penalties, holding penalties have hurt them. The score could actually be worse had they played clean football in terms of penalties.
3rd and long for Davis. 3-man rush. He'll heave it up for Lewis, and it's through his hands.
Like to see Lewis leave his feet and try to go up and get that ball at the highest point. He was in position to make that and just kind of ran through the ball instead of going up and getting it.
Lewis was the target on that interception earlier when Darius Jones outfought him for the football. And again, the throw in his direction comes up with air. How about this? South Alabama's first drive was an 11-play, 75-yard drive. Since then, from the entirety of the game on after that drive, 44 total yards.
And to me, that's as much a function of the score now as the offense of Georgia Southern.
This punt will back Keaton up to his 25-yard line. He has some lanes to work with. Keaton across midfield. He's got McKee, the punter, in his sights. He gets by him. He's in. And Georgia Southern might as well just keep running up the hill. How about 54?
If you were a Georgia Southern student and you decide to stay home for Thanksgiving, you're missing the party because it's a really nice atmosphere. The hometown team has really opened up a can, and it's Katie bar the door. I mean, that's just a bunch of guys who still want to win and still want to score, even though they're far ahead on the scoreboard. It's just their time to shine, and you come in, you take the opportunities because you work so hard during the week, and when it rains, it pours if you're a South Alabama fan because it's gotten pretty ugly here.
76 yards on the punt return touchdown. Georgia Southern very late getting the field goal team on. Weren't sure if that was going to be reviewed or not. In fact, Keaton now is ruled out at the 4-yard line. So the play apparently was reviewed as the officials got together and corrected the call. So it's a 72-yard return, no touchdown. And hold on a minute.
Timeout is charged to South Alabama. It's their first time out of the half.
All right. So let's delay at least part of the party. First and goal for the Eagles when we come back. Tough day at the office for Joey Jones. His South Alabama team down 31. Although Joey Jones tell you his first office in 2007 was a legal pad balanced on his knees outside a basketball gym. That was in the infancy of the program, according to a terrific piece that Holly Anderson wrote of Grantland last year. And Joey Jones' team going to give a touchdown. It is Vegas Harley, the third-string quarterback.
Vegas, the former corner, yeah?
Former defensive back, that's right. Actually, has played some defensive back this year.
How about that? And look how happy everyone is for him on the sideline. Just run a little read option and stick the ball in the belly, and there's no one for the quarterback on the outside. That's about as easy a touchdown he's ever going to score in his career.
Vegas, baby, Vegas.
How about that?
55-17. Georgia Southern, one off a season high in points. They are running away.
ESPN, home of the New Year's Six and the College Football Playoff.
That's the goal for Georgia Southern, only in its second year of FBS football, to make it into one of those New Year's Six games. And Willie Fritz is going to be 17-6 in 2 years when the final whistles sound. You got a chance to do that now. Highest ranked team that's a conference champion in the group of 5 will get a berth into the New Year's Six. And maybe this year it's somebody from the American Conference, maybe Houston after the win over Navy. That remains to be seen. We do know this. Georgia Southern is going to a bowl game for the first time in its history. up to the FBS level last year, and it's a transition year. The NCAA mandates you can't make a bowl, so Georgia Southern said, all right, we'll go win the Sun Belt. 9-3, 8-0 in conference, and with an 8-3 record here, they will be going bowling in 2015 or maybe 2016.
And what a breath of fresh air to be for their program. There's nothing like going bowling as a young player.
Dallas Davis on the read option. The backup quarterback keeps it here.
I mean, I have some of my fondest memories of college football playing in bowl games. And it builds a lot of continuity and camaraderie on the team. It's a lot of fun. But you want to win them, too. That was always our thing at Penn State. We made it business trips. And we had a lot of fun, but we wanted to leave with the championship of that bowl in tow. And so that'll be the goal. I mean, if it's the first ever one for the school, how much more memorable will it be if they win it?
One of 3 eligible bowl teams in the Sun Belt right now. Georgia State, South Alabama still have a chance. Everybody else is eliminated with the Louisiana Lafayette loss today. As a handoff here goes to, Dami Iola, junior out of Illinois.
Both teams going deep into their roster as they should. But you remember during our call this week, Willie Fritz said their ultimate goal is to get in the playoff.
Yep.
They want to win a national championship here. And that should be the highest goal. Why not shoot for the entire ball of wax?
Joey Jones said they remind him of an SEC team. They went toe-to-toe with Georgia last week, lost in overtime, beat Florida 2 years ago. Last year lost by 1 to North Carolina State, by a couple of points to Georgia Tech. We're that close to an 11-1 year. Handoff here is swallowed up on the toss to Iola. William Bussey, the backup linebacker.
To get where they want to go, it's all about recruiting. They got a really nice setting in the warm weather in Statesboro. The entire community is behind this university. They got a great culture, and going to a bowl will help with that recruiting. Being able to tell young high school football players, hey, I'm in this city getting ready for this bowl, and come on an unofficial visit, come check us out, and bring your family, whatever. Those are the things that get the recruits' attention, and that can start that upward rise towards a possible playoff berth.
Brandon McKee's punt in the direction of Andre Sims, and a fair catch made at the 28. What is a realistic ceiling for Georgia Southern football?
Well, I mean, first of all, you're FBS. So we should not put ceiling on any FBS squad. Obviously, it's going to come down to the sort of schedule that they can play. Can they schedule the big boys? I think the ceiling that they could have would be their potential to schedule out-of-conference games. I just don't think there are a lot of teams that are going to want to mess around with this squad, especially when you talk about the offense that they run, and it's an offense that's so hard to prepare for. That was one of the things the Jaguars said. We heard from their coaches said it's been a long week.
Kick, face mask, number 27 kicking team. The 15-yard penalty would be added to the end of the kick, first down.
It's been a long week just trying to prepare for this offense. Yep. Nobody wants to do it. It's a pain in the rear end. So how do you schedule an LSU or Notre Dame, a Penn State, a Michigan? How do you get those teams that want to come play you so that you can beef up your schedule enough that voters and national media would pay attention to you once you run through a Sun Belt? And that's not going to be easy to do. Just running through your conference is not easy to do. But then they're going to have some out-of-conference games that get people's attention, and that will be their biggest hurdle.
Well, they have Georgia Tech on the schedule in the future, Clemson, Ole Miss, among others. Maybe some dates with LSU in them. Vegas Harley still in at quarterback, and the read option here. It doesn't matter who the running back is. It's Noah Hickey this time, a redshirt freshman, and he is inside the 15. Lost the ball, though. And South Alabama has it.
Oh.
And a flag thrown late.
Yeah, mistake. Yeah, he throws the ball. Why would you do that? I mean, this is a teachable moment for a young defender like that. Keep playing hard. Get the turnover. Be happy for your team that you got the turnover, but don't throw the football in any situation, but especially when the scoreboard reads 55-17. There is no time for individual celebration when your team's getting thumped.
That's Antonio Carter. He is a senior. Junior college transfer to Fort Scott Community College in Kansas.
There was a turnover on the play with South Alabama recovering. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct. number 14, South Alabama. The penalty would be half the distance to the goal, first down.
If they were winning, that wouldn't have been a smart play. But you're getting thumped. It makes it that much worse. I mean, it's like, what are you celebrating for, really? I mean, obviously that your team and yourself, you haven't made too many plays like that, or the scoreboard would look a lot different. And, again, as a senior, he should know better than that.
So the Jaguars will start from the 6-yard line after the penalty against Carter. It's a heck of an individual effort on the play. And South Alabama will try and get out of here injury-free, choose some clock with Iota, who was at Illinois as a freshman. Ended up being dismissed from the team. Went to Arizona Western Community College last year and has become the 4th-string running back here behind Johnson, Thomas, and Timmons.
You, sir, are a professional broadcaster. For you to dig and get that sort of information, I mean, that's pretty good, partner. Kevin Brown.
Google.com is useful, too.
Is it?
But I appreciate it.
I'm more of a Bing guy.
Our crack research team was on it. Iota cutting back. And Iota is hit hard just shy of the first down. Hope he gets some free sponsorship on that drop in.
I doubt it will. That wasn't smart now I think about it. I should have just said the other search engine. And see, you hate to see injuries at any time, but certainly at this time in the ball game.
Georgia Southern player is down right now.
The game is in doubt, and it's just, you hate to see it.
Raekwon Sam, redshirt junior out of Norcross, Georgia. Transferred from Morehead State. And was born in the U.S. Virgin Islands.
See, now you're just showing off. See?
Completely.
Hey, that's all you're doing. This is grandstanding. I want all our viewers to know that Kevin Brown is officially jumped the shark, and he's grandstanding right now. Virgin Islands, really?
Well, you could probably jump a shark in the Virgin Islands if you really get crazy.
But boom.
So Sam, the reserve defensive back on the ground right now. So South Alabama led this game 14-7. If you're just joining us or if you've tuned in late, you'd be surprised to know that Georgia Southern took over and led 28-14 at the half. South Alabama's only points since the 8:33 mark of the second came on a field goal in the third at 20-24 remaining here in the fourth. Raekwon Sam will get off the field here. Good to see for Georgia Southern, the injured player. And 1st and 10 for South Alabama, closing in on 2 minutes left of this Sun Belt game. Jaguars will go to 5-6 as this run is tripped up when Iota is getting back to the line of scrimmage. So for South Alabama, it's simple. You win next week against Appalachian State. You're going to a bowl game. You lose. And you're probably not. 5-7, you would say definitely not. But this year there are so many bowl games, it's more likely than not that some 5-7 teams will have to fill out those spots. But for all intents and purposes, you lose next week, you're not making a bowl game. You win, and you're in. Problem is Appalachian State is also 6-1 in conference like Georgia Southern. And they knocked off Louisiana Lafayette today by 3 scores. Iota again getting some work as the clock continues to run.
As you said, the concept is simple, but doing the work is the tough part. I mean, Appalachian State can play.
Yep.
And so, this is a do-or-die situation if you're the Jaguars. Certainly there will be some things that you can take from this tape that were good. I like the way they started off the game. They were very much balanced. I like the play calling. They came out with a lot of fire and energy. I just think that the coaching staff got away from the game plan a little too early. They got away from the run. They lost their balance. And when you lose your balance, you sometimes fall down.
3rd and 7 coming up. Iota again. A few yards shy of a first down. A little shove after the play. And that should be it. South Alabama does not have to run another play. Now the Georgia Southern coaches are already headed to the middle of the field as the Eagles improve to 8-3, and South Alabama is 1 loss away from the season ending. They need to win next week to make a bowl. 55-17, Georgia Southern, a dominant effort.
It really was, and the 3 touchdown 3-touchdown lead they had coming in based on what everybody thought, and they scored more than that. So you got to give them a lot of credit. The Jaguars got to regroup next week and see if they can get to a bowl game.
55-17, your final score for Tyoka Jackson and our entire crew. I'm Kevin Brown, signing off from Statesboro. This has been a presentation of ESPN.